Thank you, Mr. Ming. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Paterson Municipal Council, I welcome you to the regular meeting of the Municipal Council of Tuesday, October 11, 2022. The meeting is now called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting of October 11th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Here.
Councilwoman Cotton. Councilwoman Davila. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Mendez.
Good evening, Paterson Press, Madam Clerk.
Good, thank you. Councilman Mims. I'm here. Councilman Odin.
Here, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez. Mr. President.
I'm here, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Mr. President and honorable council members, this evening we have with us to render the prayer Reverend Yolanda Worth. She's an associate minister from the New Christian Tabernacle Church, and also to lead us in the flag salute is our honorable Councilman Louis Velez, Councilman of the 5th Ward, if he's not present. Okay. All right, at this time, everyone, please rise for the prayer and the flag salute. Thank you.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you on this evening for yet another opportunity to come together in this council meeting. God, I ask you to have your way. I ask you to bless all these officers and all these council people right now in your name. I ask you to bless the administrative staff. God, I ask you to bring order and peace. And I ask you to bring understanding in everything that they do. And God, we ask you to guide them, direct them, and give them everything they need to lead this city. And God, we ask you to bless the people that have come in to this meeting. Have your way and make change, make provisions, make ways, open doors, and even close some doors. And this is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please remain standing. We will now have a moment of silence for our troops and those who have lost loved ones. As you know, we lost a leader in City of Paterson. Commissioner Crystal Clips has passed away, and we put her to rest today. May she rest in peace. Moment of silence. Thank you. Everyone may have a seat. Madam Clerk,
Yes.
please read the statement of compliance.
Yes, Mr. President. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2022 to 2023. Meeting date October 11, 2022. Time 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2022 to 2023 on or about July 1, 2022. 2. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2022 to 2023 was duly transmitted on or about July 1, 2022 to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, The Arabic Voice, The Italian Voice, Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, Cascader International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, the City Post News, and tap into Paterson in addition to any other publication requesting such notices. 3. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2022 to 2023 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall, first floor, in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2022 to 2023 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5. A copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Mr. President,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council member, we do have an executive session at 8:15 labor contract with the dispatchers. We've been talking about for probably a year or so, which is ready to go tonight. Also, Councilman Mendez requested a small presentation. Would you kindly proceed, Councilman Mendez? He's honoring someone,
Thank you, Council President.
Dr. Farrer.
Thank you. I don't think I need a mic, just in case, So good evening, Paterson. Thank you, Council President, for allowing me to do this presentation. Tonight is a very special night in this meeting because tonight we honoring somebody born and raised in Paterson, somebody that has been dedicated her whole life to serve our community in the medical field. And tonight, we have a resolution honoring Dr. Lisa Ferraro for her services in the city of Paterson and in the community. I would like to call Dr. Lisa Ferraro. Let's put our hands together for our doctor. It is a great pleasure to have you, doctor, here, so please allow me to read a couple of lines of your bio that is so powerful. And it just says, as the first, whereas Dr. Lisa Ferraro was born and raised in the great city of Paterson, daughter of Dr. Stephen Ferraro, a very prominent and respected physician in the city of Paterson. And whereas Dr. Ferraro is graduated from Ross University School in Medicine in 1984, completing her residency at St. Joseph University Medical Center in 1987, where she became certified intern in medicine. Whereas when she completed her residence, she joined her family medical practice and worked since with her father who passed in 2002. Since then, Dr. Ferraro remained committed to her great community, which is the city of Paterson. And whereas Dr. Ferraro is a great leader advocating and dedicated to her medical career and in the city of Paterson. And the last whereas, the City Council now therefore being resolved by the Municipal Council of the City of Paterson, that we wish and recognize and honor Dr. Lisa Ferraro for her valuable contribution and dedication to the City of Paterson. Congratulations, and may God continue blessing you with many, many years.
I just want to say a couple things. Number one, it's been an honor for me to serve this community. It's been a little over 30 years. My dad started to practice, and I think we're going on 75 years this year, in the same building, in the same part of Paterson. And you can't get any better people that I'd be more happy to serve than these patients in Paterson I've been blessed with. I have a great staff. One of my office managers has been with me 30 years. Sally Santiago has been with me 40 years. My office manager is Marta Galvan. She's been 29 years. And my right arm, Miss Evelyn Diaz, is my RN, and my left arm as well. And we have a new receptionist. So I have a great crew, and I have the best patients in the world, and I wouldn't leave Paterson for anything.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President.
Madam Clerk, we do have an addendum to add to the agenda, correct? Item number 48, please.
At this time, we have an item to be voted on to the agenda, and the following resolution is also scheduled for your consideration at the regular meeting of the Municipal Council to be held on Tuesday, October 11, 2022, at 7 p.m. in the Council Chambers, 155 Market Street, 3rd floor, Paterson, New Jersey. Item to be voted on to the regular meeting agenda. Item number 48, and it's resolution memorializing the life and legacy of Commissioner Crystal A. Cleaves. City Council Resolution 22641.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And this resolution.
Well, then put all three women to move.
This resolution is sponsored by Councilwoman Cotton, Councilwoman Dr. Lilisa Mims, and Councilwoman Marissa Davila. May I have a motion and a second to add this?
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Councilwoman,
Council
I'm
President.
going to go in order. The sponsors, Councilwoman Cotton, Councilwoman Mims, and Councilwoman Davila, and co-sponsored by rest of the council.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Mr. President, I need a motion and a second
Right,
to
moved
Is-
by
to
second.
vote
Yes.
onto the
Moved
agenda.
by the three ladies
Right.
of the council, and
Second.
second by rest of the council.
And the man.
Okay. Roll call to vote item number 48 to the regular meeting agenda of October 11, 2022. Councilman Abdelaziz.
This is to vote to get on the agenda, not the
Yes.
resolution. My
Yes.
vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 48 is now voted on to the regular meeting agenda of October 11, 2022.
We'll take item number 48 now, Madam
You want to
Clerk.
just vote on this? Okay.
Yes.
All right, at this time, we'll have item number 48 for approval, and item number 48 reads resolution memorializing the life and legacy of Commissioner Crystal A. Cleaves, City Council, Resolution 22641, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Cotton, Councilwoman Mims, and Councilwoman Davila.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Cotton, Councilwoman Mims, and Councilwoman Davila, and second by rest of the council.
Council President,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
I would just like to change something in here. It's just, instead of putting Water Commission, I want to put the full name, the correct name.
Passaic County Valley
Yeah.
Water Commission.
so Council President,
Thank you.
Also, Council President, can we add as a co-sponsor the rest of the council, please?
Yes.
correct, Council President. Also, in the whereas is, she was my commissioner in the Paterson Task Force, also my commissioner in the zoning board. So it was possible to add that commission into the whereas.
Planning board,
after-
Councilman,
So,
planning board.
planning board.
Planning
After-
board.
Yeah.
Planning, he says zoning.
Thank
So
you.
she's currently in planning.
But that wasn't his appointment.
No, it was, she was transferred to the planning board, but she was serving under the Paterson Tax Board, and also
Did you
my-
note that, Corporation
Patterson
Council?
Task Force.
Also in the
It's just to
zoning board.
add, I don't think.
Just to add
She was, and she was my
a couple of
appointee.
statements. I thank you, Councilman.
And also at the zoning board, too.
And the planning
Both of
board.
them.
Madam Clerk?
No, it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
Mr. President, we have an
It's just
amendment
to
here,
add.
so I need a motion and a second on the amendment first before.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Again,
On the amendment to
Yes,
add.
it's quite a bit of amendment on the resolution.
Amendment is moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on the amendment.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on the amendment for item number 48. Legal will make the necessary corrections after the adoption. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
yes,
Councilman Jackson, we are we just voted item number 48 on the agenda. It's the resolution for our late Crystal Cleaves.
Yes.
And their, okay, thank you. Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 9 in favor, none against. The amendment is hereby approved. So-
Roll call on
so-
item number 48, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 48 with the amendment. Councilman Abdelaziz.
So this is a tough one, Paterson. Commissioner Cleaves was a legend in this city. And in the line of politics, everyone has something bad to say about you. But when it came to Crystal Cleaves, no one said anything bad about her.
Yeah.
She was a class act. I worked with her hand in hand on the county committee. Campaigns she ran, she did it with class. She told you how she felt. She was a straight shooter. And my condolences go out to the Cleaves family. This is one that is a tough one for the city of Paterson. She fought for the students when she served on the Paterson Board of Ed. And you see how many boards she sat on, right? And you still, when you sit on all these boards in this line of business, someone always has something bad to say about you. When it came to Crystal, never, never. I know she's looking down at us laughing, jockeying for all this stuff, and she's probably saying with that smile, but to the Cleaves family, my condolences go out to you guys, and it's a sad day in our city, Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Khan.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would just want to say to Crystal Cleaves family, I give you my condolences. She truly was a servant, as I would say, a servant in the community. She served on many boards. She was a sorority of the AKAs, but most of all, she was really a community person. And no matter where you went, you would see her at different events. Because I always say to people, I can come to an event, I don't have to have my child not there, but 30,000 kids here are my kids. So we want to support everything, and that's exactly what she's done with her family, you know, with her two sisters, Rhonda, who's a teacher here in the public school system, her sister Penny, who served in the military. She's a veteran. So to the Crystal Cleaves family, I give you my deepest condolences. And I know that she's going to be watching over all of us to make sure that we do the right thing at all the time. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
So I had a beautiful relationship with Commissioner Crystal Cleaves. I think one of the most important things also to note, to add to what Councilwoman Cotton said, is that she was a true Christian woman, a woman of faith, a woman of God. And, you know, many a times prior to me becoming an elected official in 2014, you know, I was there by her side assisting her to also be elected and reelected. And that is how we build our relationship. And her being part of the school board and me having a child in the school system, when I was going through some tough times, she always kept my son in prayer. And even after him graduating high school, she continued to always make that call to ask, how is your son doing? In addition to that, we participated in so many events and community events as well. And, you know, our relationship was different. Being there with the family on Sunday, just having a conversation and just fellowshipping, it was something it was special and very hard yesterday to be at the wake. I'm just taken aback. You know, we've lost somebody beautiful, someone who truly was a great leader, and she will always be loved and remembered. And I'm happy that we are supporting this resolution to memorialize her life and legacy. As I've stated, to the entire family, to the sisters, to Rhonda and Penny, to her daughter, her grandchildren, her son-in-law, you know, truly, truly to her mother, truly, truly my condolences. Madam Clerk, it's an honor for me to support this resolution. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. To Rhonda and Penny and the entire Cleaves family, this news came at a complete surprise. Although we all knew that Crystal had been battling for some years, she's such a fighter that I don't think any of us expected this would be the end result. She would be deeply missed. Her example is one of strong and pride, within our community. And with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We definitely lost a great fighter in the city of Paterson. I used to call her my sister. We started serving as a commissioner. The Board of Education was elected in 2010, and Crystal Cleave was elected in 2011. Since then, alongside with Chris Irving, we have such a powerful team, and she was a fighter. She was a fighter for our children. She never stopped fighting for our children, for our education, for the city of Paterson. And you could see that on her resume. Let's continue praying for her family, and let's continue praying for our sister in heaven, Crystal Cleave. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes. Thank you.
Councilman Mims?
So to the Cleve and Thompson family, my heartfelt condolences goes out to her daughter, her husband, her daughter's husband or her son-in-law, their 3 children, and as well as her mom, her sisters, her brother, and to all the family, to the AKA community, to all of the D9 family, all of the entities that were part of her. For myself, I was able to serve with Commissioner Crystal Cleaves on the school board. We actually ran campaigns together. We campaigned hard in 2013. You remember that, Ernie? We ran together, and I still have the card with us running for my first election ever into politics. But we served together, learned a lot, did a lot in the community. But the blessing was, before her passing, we just chartered a new organization known as the Passaic County, New Jersey Links, which is all over the world, but it's new to this area. And we chartered on April the 23rd. It's been some years. I've been a part of the process probably about 5 years. I believe she was a part maybe of 8 years. It was because of her, Assemblywoman Sumter, as well as Pastor Kim Yancey James. They sent in the information for the original interest group for us to be where we are today. It is because of people like Commissioner Cleaves, 34 great women chartered this new organization known as Passaic County Links. As the chair of our retreat committee, Commissioner Cleaves served until the end. No matter what assignment she had, no matter what task was given, she would not miss a beat. She attended all 16 of our meetings. She voted in all of our sessions. She participated. She gave her ideas. She gave her wisdom. And so I want to say, Commissioner Cleaves, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You have done a great work, so many things. And I thought about it today because last night was the viewing and today was the funeral. But I thought about a lot of times when people pass on, and so many people have great accolades to say, but there are so many things that no one knew that she did, but God knows it all. And so with that being said, thank you for your life, thank you for your legacy, and thank you for your love. Your life will never be forgotten. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Udine?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere condolences to Commissioner Cleave's family. I'm lucky enough that I served the planning board over a year and a half with Crystal Cleaves. She educated me on many things. Before meeting starts, she called me. She introduced me on many things when I was a very fresh commissioner at the planning board. The last meeting I had on the election day, she came over to vote. Her daughter was taking her to the polling site. One thing she told me, Udine, don't turn to a politician, become a public servant. That's what she said, and I'm carrying still this. And I will remember what she says forever. She passed away, but she will be with us always for activities. And with that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
It was shocking when I received that call that morning. One thing I gotta say is, there's a saying in Spanish, and a song that says, cuando un amigo se va, deja un espacio vacío. In other words, when a friend goes, leave an empty space. I always meditate in those words. Who's gonna fill those shoes? And those shoes are not easy to fill. And that's why when we talk about legacy, we need to make sure that we live the legacy of Crystal Cleave. Crystal Cleave was so crystal that she was clear enough to say what was good and what was bad. Crystal Cleave was a person that, a longtime resident in the 5th Ward, ran against me. I say, how a friend is going to run against me? So, in other words, we debate with respect. She always gave me advice. She was my commissioner after that election. And, you know, I know she enjoying heaven with Dr. Glizzen, a good friend of Dr. Crystal Cleave. I want to read this whereas here. And all this whereas has good thing from Crystal Cleave. But I think this one really hit it in the nail. Crystal loved life. She loved her community. She loved serving. She loved church. She loved shopping. She loved her friends. But most of all, Crystal loved her family. That was the point of her service, loving her family. Because before you serve, you need to love your family and your home and serve your home first. And that's what she did. So, Crystal Cleave, you will not be forgotten. My word is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. She truly will be missed. May she rest in peace. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. The vote is 9 in favor, none against. Item number 48 is hereby adopted with the amendments. Legal Department will make the necessary corrections.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now I call for payments of bill for October 11, 2022.
Council President,
Yes, Madam Finance Chair.
at this time, the summary of disbursements, the bills are $1,220,388.27. All council members received the summary of disbursements this weekend in your packet, of which $681,716.47 goes to waste management. The rest are, grant funds and some general government. So at this time, my recommendation is to move forward. I make a motion for payment of bills of $1,220,388.27.
Can I get a second? Second. Moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on payments of bill. Madam
Yes,
Clerk?
yes, Mr. President. Roll call for payment of bills in the amount of $1,220,388.27. Councilman Abdelaziz. Yes. Councilwoman Khan.
Yes.
Councilman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
So, to the public, because I know quite a few people get tired of hearing me badger or talk about the same thing. And, I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit because there's a lot of us to see, Brother Mark up there, you're a sports fan. You can see a lot of athletes when they talk about their team and poor performance of their team. Not necessarily talking about a particular player. Could have been Scottie Pippen saying the team didn't play well. You got Michael Jordan on the team. Maybe Michael Jordan played well, but the team didn't play well. And I'm going to say it yet again. This council's main priority is to be fiscally responsible. As we look at this bills list, more than half, 50% of the bills list is going out to a derelict garbage company that has rendered absolutely horrendous services to our community over the past however many years. This council has the ability to separate the bills list, to hold the funding, and to hold this entity accountable, but we've chosen not to. We've chosen just to continuously move forward, overlook these things, overlook the fact that we have a rogue garbage company that pays their employees subpar conditions, Corey came to the microphone once before. I saw him, I happened to see him. He's a CDL driver. Happened to see him on the garbage truck, and he lasted there every bit of 4 days. 4 days because they refused to pay him a fair and livable wage. They're not doing the same thing to other communities that they service. They do that to Paterson. Why? Because Paterson is the ones that allow them to get away with it. I'm gonna use one more example. If you guys have an opportunity, Ms. Muhammad, tomorrow, please drive down North Main and Jefferson. Look at the new corners that was newly poured yesterday. We hire companies that come into our community, they render services, they're paid in full, but they render the poorest of services. They poured new sidewalks there and left them so everybody could scribble their names and everything in it, and that's supposed to be accepting for us, because this is Paterson. That's supposed to be suitable. While they're getting paid the same amount of money, they get paid to do work in other communities. This is the kind of services they rendered us. Why? Because we do not hold people accountable. And as I've said for the last several years, I will not vote in the affirmative of any bills list that has the payment to this rogue derelict company that's obviously funneling some of the politicians in this community. I'm sure the mayor's campaign fund is getting nice and fat from these kinds of companies. But Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We've been having problem with this garbage company for a while, but I believe in action, because that's the only way that we're gonna fix our city. And I'm gonna be brief on this, Council President, but it's important that the community know the changes that we make.
Is Roselli on this payment?
So we have payment for Roselli.
No, we do not.
No, I don't, it's Coventa.
But let me just mention that at the DPW committee meeting, we've been having extensive discussion. We finally splitting the city of Paterson into 4 different routes to have multiple companies to come into the city and bid and be part of the garbage collection. Successfully, we went out for a bid, and very soon we're gonna have multiple companies in the city of Paterson that are going to do the garbage collection in the city. We've been forced to replace and renew the contract and do an extension with Roselli, but I'm very sure that we're gonna have 4 new players that are going to provide better service for our city, and that's what we're looking forward. Madam Clerk, with that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So, this bills list is not specific to the suburban disposal company. This is totally separate, solid waste and the tonnage. And when you go into looking at the dollars and cents, if we don't pay this bill, then that tonnage could be left in different parts of the city where we'll have an increase in rodents, we'll have pollution and different smells over the city. This is totally separate from the garbage pickup. This is a company known as Coventa, and they do solid waste removal. So I just wanted to bring that number, and this total is $622,997.12, which is the majority of this bill. But I would rather say yes and pay this so that we don't have increased rodents or problems in our sewer system. So we have to do the cleanup in this city and make sure people that come to do their job, we pay them. I don't want sewer backup issues in my area or my community when there's a flood. So my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Udine?
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 against. Payment of bills in the amount of $1,220,388.27 is hereby adopted.
Madam Clerk, item 3238, the honorees for Hispanic Month Heritage celebration, can we take them all together?
32,
No, 3238.
32 to 38.
You really can't, because you really can't. I want to do mine.
No? Okay, can we take them in order, 32, 38?
Yes, Mr. President. Next item on the agenda is our non-consent item. Item number 30. Item number 30, resolution honoring Ocean Castilla as part of the City of Paterson Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22623.
Second.
This is sponsored by Councilman Abdelaziz.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilwoman Cotton and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number 30.
Roll call on item number 30 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you. I just want to say to the audience, every year we have Hispanic Heritage Month, and each council person picks someone that they would like to honor. So that's why I would say that when we vote on items, these are permanent records that has to be recorded. So Al, who is not here, his pick is Osheen Castillo, who's on the Paterson Board of Education. I've known her for many years. So we're honoring, I think on the 19th, we'll be honoring everyone. The 25th?
21st.
Oh, the 21st. Okay. Madam Clerk, that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Davila.
Yes, and just quickly, I won't be long. Many of us here, sitting here, know Commissioner Ocean Castillo from the Paterson Board of Education. Congratulations to you. I look forward in celebrating our honorees on Friday, October 21st. And the reason for the so many changes, we do have some council members who were part of the hurricane relief for Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico that are going to be traveling, and they've asked to be part of the celebration to honor their honorees as well. So with that said, Madam Clerk, thank you very much for
It's okay.
changing this so many times, but we
That's
really
fine.
appreciate you. Thank you. This is it. Done. Okay? My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
So once again, I had the great opportunity to serve with Commissioner Ocean Castillo on the Paterson School Board, and I love her and her husband, but this is her personal phrase, so if she's watching, your councilwoman at large votes yes.
Councilman Udine.
Yes, my vote is absolutely yes.
Councilman Velez.
14? Oh, of course, yes.
Mr.
I
President.
could say a lot of stuff, but let me leave for
Yes, Madam Clerk.
the day on the week.
Vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 30 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 31. Item number 31, resolution honoring Benita Gonzalez as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22624, and is sponsored by Councilwoman Ruby N. Cotton.
Second.
Second.
Move.
Moved by Councilwoman Cotton, second by Councilman Mendez, Mims, and Velez,
Davila.
and Davila.
was the
Roll call on
loudest
item
one.
31.
No,
Madam
she
Clerk.
did. He said your name.
I want to be co-sponsor.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 31 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton.
I would just like to say, I'm not sure if she's watching or not, but my honoree for the Hispanic Heritage Month was Benita Gonzalez. I remember Benita Gonzalez back in the day in the 1980s, where she was good friends with Maria Magna, who were also good friends with my husband, who's also was a community person with the CASA, with Ilya Vanilla.
Villanueva.
And so, and this woman, she's still out there. She still have her community. She lives in my ward on Putman Street, but she's still involved. Everyone that need anything and not sure what to do, they call her, and then in return, she calls me. But you know, you need people in your community or someone in your block. I always say to people, understand to learn, know who your neighbors are. Because sometimes people live in blocks, don't have no idea who living in the block with them. And they need to learn and understand their neighbors in there. But this woman has been involved for the last 40 years. And I said I wanted to give her something because right now she's battling, she had a kidney transplant from her nephew. And she's been in and out the hospital. So it's just well fitting that this Benita has been involved for the last 45 years. And I remember her when she was with Maria Magna back in the day. Benita Gonzalez, congratulations. You're my pick for Hispanic Heritage Month. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
So, thank you so much for honoring Benita. Benita, again, you know, and if you're born and raised in Paterson, okay, you know people, especially if they're involved, if they're leaders in the community, if they're in different organizations, and you're involved, you know who they are. I've known Benita for over 30 years. I know all of her sisters, I know her children, her grandchildren, and I had the opportunity to work and volunteer as a young lady with Maria Magda and the Hispanic Multipurpose Center, and then her working with CASA program with Ilia Villanueva, where, you know, I started out as a volunteer working at the college, but volunteering my time in the food pantry, and got involved on the board to become the chair of CASA, you know, in 1 year, and we had the opportunity to work together. So thank you so much, Councilwoman, for honoring her. Normally, I like to honor employees of the city of Paterson. I know that she's not one, but she's day in, day out, working for all of us. So with that said, you know, congratulations, Benita. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
So I agree with what Councilwoman Cotton and Councilwoman Davila has stated. Benita, definitely, when it comes to Maria Magda and the great work at the Hispanic Multipurpose Center, I mean, her work definitely speaks for itself. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
I gotta endorse the message of Cotton, Davila, Mims. I'm not gonna repeat myself. Everybody knows Benita. So my vote is yes.
Mr. President.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 31 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 32. Resolution honoring Anna Villalonga as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month, City Council Resolution 22625, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Maritza Davila.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman
Davila.
Davila, second by Councilwoman Cotton, Mims, and Velez. Roll call on item number 32, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 32 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just, Anna, we go back probably in the late 90s, maybe before the late 90s, because Anna was part of the Paterson Education Fund.
Yes.
Then she went and she had her own business for a little bit, and then now she's with us with the health department. Anna has always been involved with the schools. That was her main involvement, is with the Paterson Board of Education, being with the Paterson Education Fund. Outstanding, great person, love her community. She's a true servant too when it comes to children. She cares a lot about children. So with that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Davila.
So as I stated before, I always like to choose a employee of this city, right? So many times our employees don't get acknowledged as much as they should. And so I could not, you know, I met Anna over, oh my God, I worked with her husband at the college for over 20 years, him being the assistant director of EOF. I worked with Sociedad Cultural Borincana, okay, which I was a member of, Comité Noviembre. There were so many entities that she was part of, task force and so forth, but she's doing a great job as our assistant registrar in the Board of Health, and you know, I just wanted to recognize her. She has been someone that has been very committed to her family, to the 6th Ward, and someone that truly I can call a friend. So with that said, my vote is yes. Congratulations, Anna Villalonga.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Well-deserved, yes.
Councilman Udine.
Absolutely yes.
Councilman Velez.
I agree, yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 32 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 33. A resolution honoring Rosa Velez as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22626, and this is sponsored by Councilman Jackson.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jackson, second by Councilman Velez and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number 33, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 33 for approval. Councilwoman Khan,
Yes.
Councilman Davila.
So we all know everybody here. I'm trying to figure out which Roosevelt this is, but it doesn't matter, all right? She's being honored by the first ward councilman. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Congratulations.
Councilman Jackson.
She's a strong community leader, no relation to anyone on this council, just in case there was any confusion. And of course, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mims.
That was a good one, Councilman Jackson. My vote is, well, Ms. Rosa Velez, to be honored is always special and important, so well-deserved to you as well. My vote is yes.
Councilman Udine.
She doesn't have to be connected to the council member. She's connected to the community. Definitely, my vote is yes.
Oh, my God,
Councilman
even if she
Velez.
was related.
Your cousin.
Listen, a Velez is a Velez, no matter it's a strong. But one thing I agree with Councilman Jackson, that he said that she is a strong community leader. So a Velez is a Velez. God bless you, Rosa Velez. I love that last name, Velez. Congratulations, Mrs. Velez. Ms. Velez. My vote is yes.
Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 33 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 34. Resolution honoring Anundi Reynoso as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22627. This is sponsored by Councilman Alex Mendez.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilwoman Mims, Velez, Councilwoman Davila. Roll call on item number 34, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 34 for approval. Councilwoman Khan. Number 34.
Madam Clerk, you said?
Yes, Councilman Khan. Yes, your vote.
Okay, yes.
Councilwoman Davila.
Congratulations. I'm sorry. Congratulations, Anodi. My vote is yes. Él es el gigante de las mezclas.
Councilman
My vote is
Jackson.
yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm definitely looking forward to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with all the honorees, including my great friend, DJ Aneldi, one of the most powerful DJ in the whole U.S. from Mega 97.9, and a person that has been calling Paterson home. He lives in Paterson. He's been investing in Paterson for many, many years. It's a great human being. So I'm looking forward to have a great time that day. And let's invite all the community, the entire city of Paterson. That's what makes us strong, the unity in our community. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Councilman Mims.
So I have to agree. He is a good DJ. He really is. And he kind of gets the crowd riled up. So I'm looking forward to seeing him here. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Udine.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the best DJ. I think I could have some dembo with him. And my vote is yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 34 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 35. Resolution honoring Crystal Fazinja as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22628. This is sponsored by Councilwoman Dr. Lelisa Mims.
Second.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilwoman Davila, Mendez, and Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 35, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Roll call on item number 35 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would just like to say congratulations to Crystal. You know, I find that with her mom, you know, I say to parents and guardians and grandparents, when your children see you out in the community and you doing stuff, your kids do follow suit. I see them doing that all the time, and I see with her mom, Elsa,
Rosa.
Oh, the grandmother. See, it done came all the way down to the grandmother, I mean, the grandchild. But it's wonderful that doing community stuff and volunteering and doing is really important. And Councilwoman, I just want to say that that was a good pick, because I see her out there in the community too, doing different things. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila?
So it isn't strange to anyone that, I'm really involved with the family, and that, our children, my son and her, have grown up together. I've known her since a very little girl. I'm blessed to know the entire family. And yes, Councilwoman Cotton, it comes from a strong grandfather, a strong grandmother, a strong mother, Rosa Feliz, a strong father, Anthony Fazinga, aunts, Elcita Cabrera, and uncles. It comes from a strong family. And you're correct. We honored her in the past, we've honored her for Dominican independence in February, and we honored her because we saw her as a rising, shining star in the city of Paterson as an entrepreneur. So I'm just so elated. I mean, Councilwoman Mins, you're right. She's a great pick. We love her. She's our little girl. She'll always be our little girl. At least I know she'll be mine. All right, so with that said, Crystal, Bella, we love you, and it's just an honor to be able to say yes to supporting this resolution in your honor for Hispanic Heritage Month. God bless you. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's beautiful to see our children succeed. I call Crystal Fasinga mother, my sister, my little sister. We've been friends for many years, and it's so nice to see this young little girl having her own business in the city of Paterson, moving forward, and being a role model for those young men and women that are there. So I'm going to be very excited to see her being recognized on the Hispanic Heritage Month. Congratulations, and just keep moving forward, dream big, and never stop working hard, like your mom. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
And so, Mama Elsa made my prom dress many years ago, even though I'm forever 21, Dave.
How many years?
So I've known the family for a very, very long time. I sit in Elsa's office, I get a lot of wisdom. There's so many people that I believe that we stand on the shoulders of, and this family is one of them. This great young lady has such an amazing testimony and a story. And one of the things I talk about all the time is giving people their flowers while they can smell them. And she's been through so many things that it's not my story to tell. I'm sure she'll give a brief of that when we do the official honoring. But Crystal Fazigna is the epitome of class, the epitome of beauty. She's a miracle. And she, we could talk about her grandmother, her grandfather, her mom, all those individuals. But her story, how she took ashes and made beauty out of it, is just phenomenal. Crystal Fazigna, I love you. You're phenomenal. And it is an honor to honor you, as I've stated to you. When I thought about who to honor, I was in the office and I was driving home. Your name came to me, but tears came to my eyes because I remember when we were praying for you. And God blessed you, and you are still here today. And we're here to honor you, and I'm excited about that. Crystal Fazigna, God bless you. I love you. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Udine?
First of all, thank you, Councilwoman at Large, Mims, for picking Crystal as one of our honorees. She's the most youngest out of 9. And I believe she will follow the step of her grandma and mother. And my vote definitely is yes.
Councilman Velez?
Anything that comes out from the Montilla family or Fasinga family had to be good, so, right? I could say a lot of things, we family. So, and she know how I feel of her and the entire family. So my vote is yes.
Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would like to apologize to the public who is here for the public portion. I thought this item was going to be quick because we are honoring them on the 20th. We're going to talk about this individual, but I guess I was wrong. So I apologize. We got a couple of more items left, then I'll open up the public portion. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mims saying something.
My vote is
Thank
yes,
you.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 35 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 36, resolution honoring Miguel Diaz as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month, City Council Resolution 22629, and this is sponsored by Councilman M.D. Farid Udin.
Second.
So move.
Moved by Councilwoman Udine, second by Councilwoman Mims and Councilwoman Davila. Roll call on item number 36.
And Velez.
And Velez.
Roll call on item number 36 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton.
My vote is yes.
Councilwoman Davila.
So I want to just put out there, all right? And Councilwoman Cotton and I, you know, we're in the office and we review, and we like to give opportunity to others every year to honor someone new. And previous councilman who's sitting in the, welcome to your house. Okay, Councilman Bill McCoy. We always like to honor different individuals, all right? So I'm not going to stand against him being honored again, okay, because I believe that he's done a lot in the community, you know, and especially in the political world, all right, uniting specific to Dominicans, but he's always extended and supported other candidates. In addition, prominent family, you know, his wife being an educator in our city who just retired. They're actually both retired. You know, I've learned a lot, and I've told them this. You know, Miguel, I've learned a lot from you, things to do and things not to do. So with that said, you know, Councilman Farid, thank you once again for honoring him, but let it be known that he was honored first by Councilman McCoy of the 3rd Ward. With that said, I just want to say, Miguel, congratulations. I know you're out there traveling, you're in the beach, but we will see you hopefully on the 21st. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Congratulations, Mr. Diaz. We're looking forward to celebrate alongside with all the honorees on the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
36.
Thank you. Councilman Mims.
So, Miguel Diaz, thank you for all that you do. It's public notice, so I can say it. We actually served on the Superintendent Search Committee together. I absolutely love and adore you and your wife. I think you do a phenomenal job all the time. Your wisdom, your knowledge, and your experience, it speaks volumes. My vote is yes.
Councilman Udine.
All right, so the person that I love to honor, Miguel Diaz.
See you next week.
Last many years he's serving in this community in the city of Paterson. He's still serving. And I know that he was honored before by Councilman Bill McCoy, and again, I'm taking that opportunity that he's still serving at this time. His entire family is involved with the community. His wife, who served at Paterson Public School for a long period of time, she retired from Paterson Public Schools, and she's still involved in the community, advocating our young generation. And Miguel Diaz, who served as a legislative aide for our current Congressman Bill Pasquale. He was the Paterson ABC Commission, also Commissioner for Passaic County Planning Board. And I'd love to talk more about him on the day of, I believe on 22nd, on Friday, we are going to have a new date. And my vote is definitely yes.
Councilman Velez.
Madam Clerk, before you continue, I don't believe the video stream is,
They're working on it. We just told IT to contact Mr. Ming.
okay.
They're aware of it.
May I?
Councilman Velez, your turn.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Miguel Diaz, todos los días. He has some phrase that everybody could remember. Miguel Diaz, todos los días. When he say no way, Jose, it means that he knew something going around. And the last one I learned this week from him is, we all humans. So when he say that, when somebody comes up to you saying something, just respond back. We all humans. Miguel Diaz, congratulations. My vote is yes.
Councilman Abdulaziz, item number 36. Mr. President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The vote is 9 in favor, none against. Item number 36 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 37, resolution honoring Alex Sensation as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22-630, and this is sponsored by Councilman Luis Velez.
Second.
Second.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez, Davila, and Mims. Roll call on item number 37, Madam Clerk.
Yes, roll call on item number 37 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Councilman Velez, if I'm not mistaken, DJ Alex Sensation grew up in South Paterson,
you
the
go.
6th Ward, school number 9. And he's doing great things, so my vote is yes.
Councilwoman Khan.
It is, he's South P.
Yes.
Councilman Davila.
I think he's one of the best DJs, and I have to say, you know, I love to see Pattersonians out there. You know, I want to specifically thank him through Councilman Velez for acknowledging him for Hispanic heritage. He did, and La Mega for that did not charge for any of the relief, you know, advertising out there to come to Eastside High School, and year after year he does so many. So with that said, I just want to say congratulations, DJ Alex Sensation. Job well done. I'll see you on the 21st. My vote is yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Great pick, Councilman Velez, my tocayo, Alex Sensation. He loved to give back to the community. We've been friends for many, many years. We enjoy the parade together. We used to play baseball together with the team of Mega 97.9, and we always had a great time. So it's going to be a great celebration. So with that being said, my vote is yes. Thank you.
Councilman Mims.
So I don't know. You said your other DJ was the best, so I don't know, Councilman Mendez. You gotta be, you throwing that best word around. You gotta be, just say they're one of the best. That way it covers everybody under the umbrella, because they're all gonna be here together to be honored. I don't want no fights. You know, I'm not gonna be the referee, Councilman Abdelaziz. So with that said, I appreciate Mr. Sensation, as I call him. He is one of the good DJs that we have. So, and we're looking forward to honoring him. So this is another great selection, Councilman Velez. My vote is yes.
Councilman Udine.
My vote is yes.
Councilman Velez.
So, Alex, at least his name is not Domingo. Just kidding. But it's Alexander. His real name is Javier Alexander Salazar, known as Alex Sensation. He is the father of all the DJs from the Mega. Okay, so in other words, young, he brought all those DJs in. And the most important thing that Councilman Abdelaziz just said, he said about born, raised in Paterson, he came from Colombia to Paterson, and his father is a resident in the 5th Ward in Governor Towers. So it's not only because he's a DJ, he contributes a lot to the community. And those that do not know, he plays a lot of English music version that a lot of people dance, they don't know it's from Alex Sensation. So, and the other thing I was going to say is, he apologized because I took him off the plane from Miami because he thought the celebration was tomorrow. So, thanks God I don't have to pay for that flight. But he's going to be here for the 21st. My vote is yes.
Mr. President.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
The vote is 9 in favor, none against. Item number 37 is hereby adopted. Next item is item number 38, resolution honoring Fernando Rafael Agustavizas as part of the City of Paterson's 2022 Observance Hispanic Heritage Month. City Council Resolution 22631. This is sponsored by Council President Kalik.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman Velez and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number 38.
Roll call on item number 38 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz. 38.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Davila.
Just quickly, Fernanda Rafaela Guavivas, you know, I want to thank Council President for honoring this second ward resident, constituent. This gentleman, there's so many things that I could say, being part of, believe it or not, the Dominican DOPOR, which is an organization that was created to assist Dominicans who wanted to get involved in politics and other things, but amongst that, he is a resounded, great individual in the city, a businessman, an educated man, came here back in 1979, I believe, to the city of Paterson. This is his home. In addition to all of that, he always opens up his home to support others who want to get involved as well. And, with that said, I can just honestly say thank you, Council President, for choosing Second Ward resident Fernando Rafael Aguaviva. My vote is yes. Congratulations.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yep.
Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
So all 9 resolution, 7 of them had to be with the 5th Ward. Fernando's has a business in the 5th Ward. I won. Fernando's has a business in Market Street and Madison Avenue, so everybody knows who Fernando was. I was listening to all the, and everybody mentioned something from the 5th Ward. I guess even the Velez is there, is part of the 5th Ward also. So my vote is yes.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Velez. October 21st, Friday night, we'll be honoring all these individuals, 9 of them, in the city council member. I want to invite everyone to join us on Friday the 21st. My vote is yes.
Yes,
Madam
yes.
Clerk.
Yeah, the vote is 9 in favor, none against. Item number 38 is hereby adopted. Mr. President, we have item number 47 for the heritage, and that's the one for the mayor. Can I do that one? 47?
Yeah, sure.
We don't have to take
Okay.
that one back.
Next-
Actually, Madam Clerk, let's do the consent, and then we'll go to public portion.
Okay, you want to hold this for now? You want to wait for 47 for a while, Mr. President? Just wait?
Consent.
Consent, yes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda items. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed on the consent agenda are numbers 10 through 29. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter.
So moved.
So move.
Is there a second?
Council President,
Yes.
are you adding 47 to the consent?
No. Moved by Councilwoman Davila.
Yes, and Mims.
And second by Councilwoman Mims.
You should,
Okay, moved by Councilwoman Davila and Councilwoman Mims. And
Second.
second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call on consent agenda, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on consent agenda items 10 through 29. Councilman Abdelaziz? Councilwoman Cotton?
yeah.
Yes.
Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Udine?
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Items 10 through 29 on the consent agenda is hereby adopted.
Madam Clerk, I'll open up the public portion now.
Yes, Mr. President. I think we have 12 speakers. At this time, our public portion is now open, and our first speaker is Mr. Sebastian Mejia. Please state your name for the record.
The mic. Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Mr. Mejia, go ahead.
Council, all right. Good evening, council. Good evening, public watching at home. Firstly, tonight, I would like to congratulate our young men's soccer team from Kennedy High School who just passed their semifinals. Moved on to the semifinals. They just won their quarterfinal game against Passaic High School. I would like to congratulate them, and I would also like to bring some attention to the situation that they're going through. As many of you are aware, and I know several of you were at the game on Saturday, as many of you are aware, the Kennedy Knights soccer team does not have a home field at the moment. Previously, it was at Pennington Park, but that field has been in a contaminated state for roughly around 2 years now. And you know Coach Alfredo, the head coach of the soccer team at Kennedy High School, he does a lot for these children. You know, book bags, uniforms, anything he can inside and outside the field, he does. So I think it's important that as a city, we're there to support these young men and women because they're both going to use this field, so they could advance in their academic and their sports careers. I think that's of the utmost importance. Because if we could put priority to making sure that the New Jersey Jackals have somewhere to play with, why are we not putting that much of an emphasis making sure that the Kennedy Knights have somewhere to play with on a field that's not contaminated? Because as it was stated, it's of the utmost importance for the Jackals to come into Paterson, New Jersey, and to play at Hinchcliffe Stadium. I'm not mad at that. But what I am mad at is when our students get put on the back burner. That's what upsets me. That's what I feel is unfair and it's just not right. So I think as a body, we should all put some emphasis on making sure that that field is brought up to par and it's playable and it's safe for our children to have somewhere to play on. Okay? And that's at Pennington Park. Also, I've been made aware that the lights at that park shut off by the time it goes dark. That's not a safe environment. It's not a safe environment. And that's the same park where Jose Elias Reyes Colon was shot and murdered some time ago. So I think we have to put more emphasis on the safety and the use of our parks, because that was millions of dollars that was poured into that, and it's not even being used. Okay? Secondly, in regards to Felix de Jesus, no budget, no items list, nobody should get paid. This city hall should come to a standstill. No budget should pass until this family receives answers for their missing loved one. It's been said that it only takes 5, right? It only takes 5 votes of these city council members to pass something or to reject something. So then let's see 5 city council members say, no, I'm not voting for any budget, any payment of bills. Fantastic 5, whatever you want to call it, that's how this city government works. It takes 5 to pass something, it takes 5 to reject something. So I say, and I'm calling upon you all, nothing gets paid, nobody gets paid. Make them feel uncomfortable, pay no bills, and I'll wrap up in about 30 seconds. Make them uncomfortable until this family gets some answers back. Okay, because we're trying to pull money from all these different places, $5.8 million for Westside Park, but that's the last place where Felix de Jesus was seen. So how about we make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's and do what's right before we move anything on to this city, because it's going to get shut down one way or the other. Have a good evening, Council. Have a good evening, public at home.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Teague, Corey Teague. Please state your name for the record.
Corey Teague, 65 Prince Street, 5F on the ballot November 8, 2022. I am here to represent the Felix de Jesus family. It's interesting, we just had a conversation outside with the Public Safety Director, Jerry Spezial, and he informed us that he's waiting for answers from the council. The family heard him. I'm not making that up. He said that he's waiting for answers from the council, that he comes here every week to try to get directions from the council on what to do. Council is saying that they're waiting on the Public Safety Director and the Police Department to give them direction. So it's like, what's going on? We just spoke to him. Family's here. They heard every word he said.
Where is he?
He said he was waiting for the council to give him some direction.
Let him
told the
continue.
family that.
Let him continue.
He just spoke to the family. I asked if we could meet with the new police chief. It was told to me that there's current litigation, so there can't be a meeting between the family and the new police chief. This is what was just, the family was just here and they heard it. So nobody can say I made that up. They just heard it. What I'm saying is there's too much back and forth going on. This man is still missing. And you know, just to put a plug in there, you want to honor somebody for Hispanic Heritage Month, Felix's mother should be honored for the hell that she's been through for the last 8 months. If they want to honor somebody. If you're going to honor somebody, don't honor somebody that's politically advantageous for you, because we really get hooked up in the political stuff. But honor this mother that has had to deal with not knowing where her son is for 8 months at the hands of a city and the police department that took an oath to protect and serve. That's who you need to honor if you're going to honor somebody. Doesn't the Bible say, honor your mother and father that your days may be longer? Well, there's a mother that is crying out for help right now. And I've been here for the last 8 months with this family. So those who are saying that I'm just showing up now, that's nonsense. I was here from day one, and I am not going to turn down the heat. Felix matters, just like everybody else, and I'm going to continue to say that until the family gets justice. This is not a moment, this is a movement. And you know what? It's a shame. It's a shame that when a person comes to the microphone or stands up for basic human rights, they are considered radical. They have to be considered an activist. Having to fight for basic human rights should not be considered activism. That is just basic human rights. That's basic human rights. Fighting for clean drinking water shouldn't be considered activism. That's basic human rights. When society has been devalued and society has been brought low to a point where fighting for a human being becomes radical, we have fallen to a place of utter darkness. When a person is being considered too radical, making too much noise simply for fighting for human rights, all we're fighting for is so that a human being who went missing after an encounter with the Paterson police can be located, and nobody has answers. And instead of you giving the family answers, y'all want to attack me for fighting for the family. Well, keep on attacking me, because at the end of the day, when I stand before God, I'll be able to say I did the right thing, and I can go to sleep at night knowing that I did what's right. The Bible says that when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, but when the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice. The people are mourning because the people in charge are wicked and evil. That's what I'm saying tonight.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Ms. Crystal Garcia.
Good evening to all in attendance. 252 days and counting. I'm going to read excerpts from a recent article written by Daisy Robertson of New Jersey Advanced Media for NewJersey.com. Now's not the time for this corrupt New Jersey Police Department to regain control of its internal affairs, published on October 7, 2022. The news that the Paterson Police Department, after a 17-month takeover by the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office, is regaining control of its internal affairs department, left me completely puzzled. When the prosecutor's office made the announcement last week, I couldn't think of a more backwards move. Now's not the time to give them back control. If anything, they need more oversight. Let's start with the fact that the concept of internal affairs division departments of police officers investigating and policing other police officers is already troubling. So how anyone could have thought this was a good idea is highly questionable. Here's why it's not. Since the takeover of the division began in April 2021, following the arrest and convictions of several officers over several years leading up to that, it's been scandal after scandal. 2 officers beating up on a teenager, the Paterson robbery squad, a ring of corruption cops for years targeting and stealing from residents, plainclothes police officers fatally shooting a black man, the disappearance of a man who was last seen with the Paterson police officers, a police chief who sleeps on the job while violent crime increases. I could go on, but you get the idea. To make matters worse, the details of many of these incidents remain unclear. Even now, the prosecutor's office, despite finding deficiencies in the past practices in the Internal Affairs Division, it is not disclosing whether any of the more than 500 cases it reviewed, many dating back to 2018, led to any changes in their outcomes. The people of Paterson want answers and clarity, and we deserve it. People like 19-year-old Asma Al-Sadi, who was seen on video being repeatedly and brutally punched by officers Kevin Patino and Kendrick Dineo. Al-Sadi has said he was humiliated, treated like an animal, and tortured at the police station. Prosecutors have said both officers filed false reports in an attempt to cover up their conduct. They were charged by federal authorities but not pleaded guilty. Shocking. More recently, in December 2021, 25-year-old Thelonious Rara McKnight was fatally shot by Paterson police in a dark alleyway in the city East Main Street. And what about Felix De Jesus, says Paterson School Board member and community activist Corey T., who's been helping the De Jesus family in their search from day one. He's still missing. Paterson man Felix de Jesus, a 41-year-old father of two, has been missing for nearly 8 months. Since the cold February 9th, 2 officers say they dropped him off at a Westside Park. Of course, we don't know what happened exactly, and it's possibly we'll never know, since the officers turned off their body cameras, violating the Attorney General body-worn camera policy. Crystal Garcia, the fiance of de Jesus' younger brother Giovanni, told me some months ago that the prosecutor's office hadn't provided the family with any updates on whether the officers who detained de Jesus were being investigated, much less the results of the possible investigation. We're all kind of living in a limbo because we still don't know anything, she said at the time. The problems in Paterson involving police and the department's gross lack of transparency and accountability are far from fixed. Clearly, even so, the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office in a statement said it had ensured that current and future investigations are conducted thoroughly and fairly. But again, keep that in mind, I did not say whether a review led to any changes in the outcome of those cases. Mayor Andre Saya himself told the Paterson Press the prosecutor's recommendations were not for public consumption. That's interesting, especially coming from an elected leader who's long been saying he wants more than transparency and accountability. Also, just for the record, Mr. Jerry stated that if he had the case, he would have found him the next day. There must be a lot of things that's known but not said.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Gilmore.
Mr. Gilmore.
David Gilmore. Mr. Gilmore.
Don't go nowhere, De Jesus family. I'm with you. Good evening, Dave Gilmore.
Good evening.
Paterson. I got good news and bad news. Good news and bad news. But let it be said for the record, the truth has no filter. The truth has no filter. I sat here and listened to people's HIPAA rights being violated tonight. You don't talk about people's medical conditions in the public venue on TV. What was that about? The other thing I want to say is, right now, is that in these chambers, I remember, and the words reverberate in my mind, when asked to come and introduce the mayor, one of the esteemed reverends from town told us that God sent us Andre Saya. God delivered us with Andre Saya. That it was a blessing that this individual had come to lead us in this next however many years. Well, let me say something. I want to thank God, too. I want to thank God for sending us Forrest Uden, because after all the complaints we made on Summer Street, nothing, he know what I'm saying. After all the complaints we made on Summer Street, nothing happened over there until Roger Greer and myself contacted him yesterday, and he said he was going to get those people over there to clean it, and he did. He did it. And I don't care what nobody else says, if they want to claim credit or this, or I called and this and that. I don't care what you say. He did it. And give credit where it's due. I want to thank you, sir, for standing up for the people over there on Summer and King, the elderly people that had to suffer over there through that for years, up and down, how many different times it was clean, but he stepped forward and responded and went ahead and did it. Thank you, once again. I also want to say, last week I was accosted in the back room, and I feared for my life. The man came in like a madman, coming in trying to push me out of the room when I was invited in the back by one of the other council people to have a conversation. Came in like a madman. I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do. So I also want to say as well that Miguel Diaz, good friend of mine, honored twice. I was honored twice. It's not a big deal to be controversial to be honored twice. Thank you, Councilman Mendez. But I don't expect to be honored by the Negro Committee. I don't think so. Because the Negro Committee, as it was before named that, was supposed to vet candidates for positions, Board of Education, council, mayor. But once they hit mayor, that was it, it's over. They became Negroes Fondre. So I don't expect any accolades or anything from them because, like I said, the truth has no filter. And I'm going to tell the truth. And I will take it to my grave. And one last thing, Councilman. I have a friend. For over 30 years, we've been friends. And she was called into a council person's office to ask what was their relationship with me. Where does that come from? Is opposition research being done for the mayor? Is that what it's all about? You want to know who I'm having relations with or friendships with? That's got to stop. The next time it happens, you can expect to be on a witness in the retaliation 2nd District Federal Court case that I'm bringing against the city for supporting the mayor's retaliation against me, and or if she's accosted or anything said to her, it's going to be added to the case. You have no business asking anything about my personal business.
Please reply, Mr. Gilman.
Nothing. And in the words of Will Smith, keep my name out your mouth. You understand? So disrespectful. In the name of nosy.
Thank you, Mr. Gilman. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Next speaker, Mr. Rucker, Mr. Ernest Rucker.
Mr. Rucker.
Ernest Rucker, Paterson, New Jersey. I'm here tonight. I didn't come to raise hell like normal. I see at times the community can work with this council to get legislation done that's necessary to move this city forward. Now, I understand you made an amendment to an ordinance you just recently passed about electric motorbikes. Now you're banning gas stations, which I applaud you 100%, from selling gas to them. Where I'm a little fuzzy, as I'm seeing these stores buy more bikes to sell and an illegal bike to a citizen of this city that's going to have that bike taken from them. So I think we need to bring back that ordinance for a third amendment, that you are not allowed to sell those bikes in our city. We need to do it. Councilwoman, we need to do it. In New York City, the New York City Housing Authority is banning the storage of those bikes because they blow up. They blow up. I believe we had a fire down the street on Main Street where one of those bikes may be the issue of it catching on fire. So again, yes, the community can work with you when we're working for the same thing. But when we're working on opposite ends, and it's just political, there's no concern for the community, is where I have my problem. I remember Corey saying something about activism. Well, I don't think there's any activism going on when we say to the council, let's work in unison to bring about ordinances that's going to help, even what the administration says they're now doing quality of life. So let's give them the tools to do it. So I want to talk about a store right next door to City Hall. There's a flea market out there. We pass it every day. You hear complaints about it. They need to be ticketed, and we need to change the ordinance. I read your ordinance that you have on the books, which is so weak that it's almost like doing business to pay the fine. We need to take some of these ordinances, convert them into power punches, where the judge doesn't have the discretion to say, I'm going to cut your ticket down to $50. A mandatory fine for these individuals who we know are lawless, but they know it's just paying out of their pocket to do business. Okay? We have to stop this. That ordinance that we have, if you look at Jersey City's ordinance, if you look at Newark's ordinance, they're not playing. They're not playing. If you violate these laws in Newark, in Jersey City, you might as well move. And not to give you a hard time today, in closing,
Thank you, sir.
okay, in closing, let me say once again, and this goes to the administration and the council, if we do not tighten these ordinances up and we do not replenish the inspectors that we need to serve this city, we're doing a disservice to this community. Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Ms. Wahida Mohammed.
Ms. Wahida Mohammed.
What's God's name? Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Now, Council President,
Yes.
I want to say to you, when I ask these questions, I need answers. And I don't need to wait until the end, and then you all just quickly shut down the public portion and answer nothing.
You'll be
First
answered at the
question
end.
is for, through the chair, to Councilman Al-Aziz. People were listening last week when you said they were going to get $1,500. So they want me to ask you, when is that going to happen? And they need answers. Through the chair to Corporation Council, I need to know, when we fine people for doing things and they pay the fine, but then they do it again and again, when does it go to something else other than just fines? Because that seems like they care less about the fines. The next one, when that, to the chair, to Councilman Udon, the great job that you did over there today, getting that mess cleaned up. Now what? Because evidently it was cleaned up before. And that person went back and did the same thing, and nothing happened. So what's going to happen there different? Through the chair to the BA, the CDBG money, I'm being told, is being held up. For what reason, we don't know. It's not been discussed yet or whatever. Now, I'll stand here and wait for those answers, please.
No, we're not going to answer
use
right
up
now.
my time.
We'll at the end. We'll answer. We'll answer those questions. Everybody knows what are the questions. They will answer then.
I didn't use my time, so they have time to answer. So what?
You could continue speaking, or I'll call the next speaker. It's your time. Yes.
Okay, so they can answer.
They will answer at the end. We have a process we've been following for a while, so that's going to be the process.
See, I should get like the lady did last time and say
Yes,
to you,
the-
I'm not
you-
moving.
you
But
get-
I'm gonna
you
show
get your
you
answer,
some
ma'am,
respect
yes.
right now. Because if you don't answer those questions at the end, you're gonna have to carry me out of here, okay? I'm telling you now.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Bilal Hakeem.
Mr. Hakim.
Good evening, City Council, Corporate Council, Chief Financial Officer, and Business Administrator, and to all of you here, Paterson residents that may be viewing. I just wanted to say from the beginning, the Jesus family, we stand with you until the end, till we get answers and resolve. If it was any of one of you, of your family members, you wouldn't be calm either. People talking about they should be, calm. No, you wouldn't be calm. You wouldn't be calm. I pray none of you have to go through what this family is going through, and I hope things happen for them. Dr. King's daughter, disinvited longtime friend and financial supporter, Harry Belafonte, He was a friend to Dr. King and the civil rights movement. But because he disagreed with former President George Walker Bush policies, his daughter disinvited him. Shame on her. Shame on her. I seen her recently, didn't get a chance to have the dialogue, but shame on her. And I say that right there because this happened recently during the mayor's race. Longtime friends, because they were on the opposite side of the political spectrum, disinvited your friend. Don't come to the party. Talking about the former councilman, Bill McCoy, tell Mr. Rucker, don't come. Don't come. Thanks to the efforts being made on Broadway, Martin Luther King, known as Martin Luther King Way, and the so-called black people, y'all should be up in the air trying to clean Broadway. You got Dr. King's good name there, and we just riding by, and it can't be all on the police. But I want to thank those police. I don't know if it's you guys, but we have to thank the chief and wherever they're getting those directives from, starting that process. We have to clean it up. Make it like COVID again, quiet, because the very buildings were nodding. The very buildings nodding. We support DPW on so many levels, but we don't support is the few that are lazy. The few that are lazy, we don't support them at all. They need to move on and find somewhere else if they're going to be lazy, if they're not going to do their job. I expect them to do their job. I mean, clean it. And I'm telling you, when I first started at this job, my morale was up. My morale hurt after I found out they didn't care. But because of my commitment and love, and I took the job, I do it, with cheer. So that's my message to DPW. Most of them work, but there are some lazy ones, and we need to weed them out. A residency law that does not allow outsiders to come into our city, we need to draft that. All of the cities and municipalities around here have a residency law. People are not coming into their parks doing what they want to do. If someone draft, if not, I know how to draft. I can draft and submit it to you. Salatu Juma in Barber Park that we are sponsoring will resume on October the 21st, 1 p.m. We have a special guest coming from Atlanta, Georgia, known throughout the world. He's a young brother, and we look forward to seeing the Muslim community there. I'm pulling out right now, Mr. President, because I have to tell you, I have to just resolve this here matter right here. This is regarding the ID situation. I did get the opportunity, my sister got here, we visited my mother's grave. I did get the opportunity to come down, get a new ID printed out. I met with the business administrator, the chief financial officer, I believe was Javier Silva, the new director, and my sister. My sister came just as a witness. She's a fireball, you know what I mean? So she said, I'm going with you. But I had a discrepancy, which I did mention. I called and said, there was a discrepancy in terms of with my ID because they said my title was maintenance grounds worker. So I disputed that right there. They said they checked in the records and said that, oh no, it's there. But I have, I just want to put on the record. I have 3 IDs. Can you just pass them around so they can, I want all of them just to see the IDs that I have here. These are 3. This is the first one. This is the first ID that I received here when I returned back to work in 2013. When my title changed, when I was submitted to 375, this is the new one. I want all the council people just to take a look at it. I do thank, I see here Ms. Deborah Hannibal, who was the former director. She was very helpful. I'm coming out. She was very helpful in making sure that I was on point with my items in the computer so that I don't run into something when I decide to retire. So I'm saying that I have my 375. I did, the young ladies, they were upset. They were very upset there. I went there, I apologized to them. I extend my apologies. I didn't want to make nobody feel bad, I was just wanting the ID and, some miscommunication. It came out when we discussed in terms of how it came out. So we dealt with that because the young lady has always been very helpful. But I will submit my 375, and I will just say this here, and I'm out of here.
Thank you.
Competence. I didn't make those IDs. And we have to begin to make sure that they're competent people. I didn't make the ID. I didn't make it. When the young lady made the ID, she made the new ID because I submitted the document to her with the signatures on it, which I will be submitting. Thank you,
Thank you, Mr.
everyone.
Hakim.
And
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Elvis Durham. Elvis?
Albus Durham. He's
He's
right
here.
there.
How everybody doing?
Good evening.
Just gonna wait for a minute for the council people to finish their conversation. Just want to say to, by the way, my name is Elvis. Live on the 4th Ward, 283 Broadway. Some people got a little attitude today on the council, but God bless y'all. Just want to say to the new councilman, you new and you doing a wonderful job. The community is talking about you. Paterson is talking about you. I'm surprised to see you on the 4th Ward. Just want to say I have a YouTube channel. It's over 25,000 people watching. So my YouTube channel is Paterson NJ Good News. Y'all can write it down. Paterson NJ Good News. I also want to say this to the people that live on the 1st Ward and the councilman, Michael Jackson, of the 1st Ward. Me and my production will be coming to the 1st Ward in 2023. We're going to be doing gospel events. We have a prime location. And we will be doing gospel events on the 1st Ward and the 4th Ward. And I'm looking to do a lot of great things on the 1st Ward. Oh, yeah. Also, Smoking Crabs and Seafood is located in Center City Mall, 301 Main Street, downtown Paterson, New Jersey. Smoking Crabs and Seafood is the best seafood restaurant in the tri-state area. Smoking Crabs and Seafood is inside Center City Mall on 301 Main Street, downtown Paterson, New Jersey. Also, coming soon, it's going to be a chicken wing spot, going to be inside Center City Mall. So look for 23 Favor Plus wings. It's going to be inside Center City Mall. Redeemed Fellowship Center, that's my home church, y'all. Presents our annual, so this is not our first one. They were doing this for years. Our annual women's conference. Oh yeah, this is going to be the biggest women's conference in the Passaic County area. And it's going to start Friday, October 21, 7 p.m. Saturday, October 22nd, 7 p.m. And Sunday, we're going to put the icing on the cake. October 23rd at 4 p.m. at Redeemed Fellowship Center, 292 North 8th Street, Prospect Park, New Jersey. My pastor is Pastor Brenda Davis Gilbert. And to the ones that never heard of Redeemed Fellowship Center, you could go on our YouTube channel, YouTube Redeemed Fellowship Center. This is going to be a great event. I'm looking for everyone to come out. And don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Paterson NJ Good News. I'm doing a lot of great things in this city.
Thank you.
And, hey, Council President, how you doing, man?
Good.
Thank you. Just one more. Doing a lot of great things in the city, and I'm willing to work with each and every one of you. I don't have to be your friend, but I have to respect you, and you have to respect me. Okay? You have a nice day.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam
Yes,
Clerk.
Mr. President. Next speaker, Ms. Hannibal, Deborah Hannibal.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, I would like to give my support to the De Jesus family, and I welcome them to come and stand with me. This is just heartbreaking to watch week after week, this family suffering, because we all have family. I have 2 sons and 5 grandsons and 1 granddaughter, and I cannot imagine what they go through, not knowing where their family member is, and not and knowing that he was last seen in police custody. This just really hurts. And they do deserve some type of answer. They come here week after week. I notice that this is a trend that happens, that people can bring up issues here week after week, and there's no answer. One of the issues which may seem minor is the payment of bills issue. I know Councilman Jackson, Ms. Muhammad here has asked that we separate the payroll from the other items of the bill so that the city employees are not affected if someone wants to vote down an item. I don't understand why that is so difficult to get done. Okay? This administration, this is something to me that would come under their purview, that they would be able to do. The BA was given or gave herself a $50,000 raise. Okay, that's $50,000. There's probably many of the employees that work for DPW have worked here for years, and they do not make $50,000. Okay? It's also important to bring out that when the BA's office was previously staffed, when Senator Nellie Poe was the BA, there was one part-time assistant BA. Today, because there was a settlement agreement, there are 2 full-time assistant BAs. Yes, today there are 2 full-time assistant BAs. So, to me, I don't understand how hard it is to be able to separate out payroll from the other items on the bills list. This, with that staff, it seems like it's something that can be done. And I know how you stare down people, and every time that Councilman Jackson speaks, I see the disdain that you have for him. Tonight he was speaking, and you gave that look. And I'm very familiar with that look, and you're trying to give it to me now, but I am not afraid. And I heard what you said to the family that night. That was conduct unbecoming, to say that you shouldn't have to walk through them. They shouldn't have to be here week after week. They should not have to be here. So with that just being said, I'm thinking that this is something that the council should be able to achieve. People want to move this city forward, and it shouldn't have to come up every time we have a meeting about this bills list. We want work to get done in this city. So thank you, and this family has my support.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker is Mr. Freeman. Kemi Freeman? Mr. Freeman? Oh, he's here. Okay, he's coming.
Mr. Freeman.
Well, I ain't gonna jump in nobody's case today, except that, before I speak, number 6, the ordinance, right here you have it. On here you have first reading. On the actual document, you have second reading right here. And final, which one? What is it? All right, because I need to look at this, all right? And this kind of shenanigans you guys pull, but guess what? Paterson school system was good at one time, and guess what? National needs list. You're not gonna get this passed, okay? I don't know what you're pulling. Is it gonna be read tonight or not? We'll get on that. Kemi Freeman, 3rd Ward, lived in Paterson 61 years. I was at the East Side Neighborhood Association meeting, and the sheriff was there, the freeholder was there. And I was telling them about a couple of Fridays ago, 2 o'clock on a Friday, there was a shooting on East 40th Street and 18th Ave. Drug deal, we've been seeing this stuff forever. We've been there 31 years. When my father-in-law was alive, we used to look out the window, guys were counting money, drugs going down, cars going in there. I've been talking about this stuff for years, but you guys won't listen. Well, guys won't listen, and at this point, I don't care. My house is paid for. But when my significant other says we might have to get bulletproof windows and bulletproof panels in the 3rd Ward, we have a problem. I grew up in the 4th Ward. I know gunfire when I hear it. I've seen the last couple of shootings right here. I saw them with my own eyes.
Those kids getting shot, I saw them. I was in the car with my cousin. I lived in the Fourth Ward my whole life. I've seen bullets flying, but it's getting outrageous. And as an African American, and I'm half African and half African American, what I see on Broadway, Martin Luther King, is disgraceful. If you are a black leader or a so-called black leader, you got to do something. I don't care what it is. I've never seen Paterson in this bad of a shape. 61 years. My grandmother lived on North 3rd Street for 41 years. I lived in the 3rd Ward for 31 years. I lived in the 4th Ward almost my whole life. The violence is out of control. The drugs, out of control. I saw people shooting up when I was 10 years old, 1969, Governor Street. It's out of control. The police, I'm not trusting the police to do anything anymore. Let me tell you a story. I'm a historian. There's a place in America called Freeman County. A man named Freeman bought his freedom in 1875, and him and his brothers bought 20,000 acres in Virginia. They changed their old names to Freeman County. We had our own sheriff department. No one got lynched in Freeman County. That's where I'm from. And last, I'll say this. I'm a son of an immigrant. My father's Ethiopian. Anybody who knows history knows what that means, especially Jamaicans. We're the only free people, only free black men on earth. We never were defeated. We were never colonized. We were never enslaved. So if you, I've been a fighter my whole life. It's in my DNA. You understand me? And I'm not going to keep standing by and tell you things like the developers coming 15 years ago. I told you about that. But anyway, I'm ending it up because Khalid is my friend. I know he's getting ready to say something.
Thank
But
you.
you know what? You guys got to do better. Or else some of you guys, I hear a lot of good things about you. All right? The rest of you got to do better.
Thank you.
And that goes for everybody.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Last but not least, Mr. Daniel Mejia.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Before I start, I wanted to ask if I could get some extra time so I could translate it in Spanish, what I'm going to say today.
Make it short, make it quick as possible, please. Try to be in time frame of 3 minutes.
Okay. So my name is Daniel Mejia, and I am the CEO of Silk City One, which is a QR code that I look to implement in the city, starting off in the city of Paterson, which would give the people 3 options. The first option is any city event, any city events. The second option would be any city jobs, and then the third option, it would have a list of the elected. Basically, it would have a presentation of, let's say, Michael Jackson would have a presentation of what is his vision for the city. Then on the bottom, it would have a more about. And right on the bottom of that, it will have a checklist of things that he needs to do based on what the people have told us, Silk City One, of things that need to be done or fixed. And once he completes that job, he would be able to check it out, basically put a check mark, and the people would get a notification. The goal with this, I asked for 25 cents per month for every house, which would be 151 based on the census on 2020. With this money, what I plan to do was to be able to use I'm not sure if you guys heard about the method of hydroponics and aquaponics, which I wanted to use it to try to clean the river. And the vegetables or the fruits that are being produced, we could give it to the schools. So those who are trying to become culinary, is that the word? Mr. Jackson? Culinary arts. They would be able to practice through cooking for the schools, and it would look great on their resume because it would be something, the first thing that would, it's one of the first things that's going to happen in the city. So it would look great on their resume. But I also forgot to mention that we would also have a section for the elected people, which would have a law of recall referendum, which is basically if you're not doing your job, then through that law, we could actually, the people or the registered voters could actually vote you out of office. And that's about it. So just to translate it in Spanish, yo me llamo Daniel Mejía. Estoy presentando una compañía que se llama La Ciudad, en español es La Ciudad de Lana, en donde yo le daría a la persona, a ustedes la persona, 3 opciones dentro de la página. La primera opción es cualquier evento que haya en la ciudad. La segunda opción es cualquier trabajo. Y la tercera opción es básicamente tendríamos información de cada persona elegida por ustedes, la persona, y esa persona elegida va a tener un video básicamente presentando su visión para la ciudad. Debajo de eso va a haber un historial básicamente de su antepasado, o sea, su vida. Y luego debajo de eso va a haber un checklist que es básicamente cosas que ellos tienen que hacer, y cada vez que esa persona haga su trabajo, ustedes, la persona, recibirán una notificación cada vez que ellos marquen el trabajo que hayan hecho. Ahora, si esa persona no hace su trabajo por medio de la ley que se llama Recall Referendum, es básicamente en donde ustedes, los que están registrados para votar, pueden remover a la persona elegida porque no está haciendo su trabajo. No hay que esperar 4 años para hacer eso.
Thank you.
There's no more speaker, Mr. President.
No more speaker?
No more.
Seeing none, move to close.
Second.
Motion.
Move to close by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Mendez and Councilwoman Davila. Roll call to close the public portion.
Roll call to close the public portion. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So I am going to answer some questions that were directed to me. Ms. Mohammed, to the residents of the city of Paterson, I want to make it very clear. So this is a state program, and the New Jersey Division of Taxation will send out letters to homeowners and renters that have a unique PIN number that is for the renter or the homeowner. You have to file for that rebate by December 31st or December 30th, 2022. Once you file it, the rebate check should be coming in the beginning of next year in the first quarter. I'm not going to give the date. What we're going to do in the 6th Ward is all my residents and renters are going to get a letter. So the residents of 6th Ward, you will be receiving a letter in the mail that I'll be mailing you out, explaining this information. And to the administration, we're going to set up sites to assist our seniors, to assist anyone that has issues with registering for these rebates. This is a tax relief rebate. So we're going into the 6th Ward. I will share the information. I already shared it with some of my colleagues that what I will be doing in the 6th Ward. So my residents will be receiving a letter in the mail within the next 2-3 weeks, and a number to call if you need assistance with the rebate. This is almost a 15% reduction in your tax bill, and renters will get up to $450 back. So I'm doing that in my ward, but Madam BA, I do think through Mr. CFO, I do think you guys should open up your offices for people to assist with this matter. This is something new. I think this should be something the city should assist anyone. If there's going to be, you could open up a couple sites. FEC, whoever it is, I don't know who it is, but there should be a one-stop shop that they could call to assist, because this is a program we need to take advantage of, because the state will look as who's applying for these rebates, right? The city has many renters and homeowners, and I know for a fact my residents will be receiving something in the mail that I will be sending myself. And number two, I heard something about the payroll. You're absolutely right. If you want to split the bill with payroll, every council person can make a simple motion to amend the bill list to remove payroll. It is split up in our bill list already. Every council person has a right to do that. So I want facts to be written. We don't need it to be split up. It's already split up. Today's bill list says computer checks, 1.2 million, 220,388, payroll, 0. If you want to remove it, any council person could go, Madam Clerk, I'd like to make a motion to remove payroll at the amount of 1.2 million, and the new bill list will be that number. That's how simple it is. No one has done it. So let's let the facts be the facts. A motion, a second, and then you'll see who'll vote yes or no on it. I personally like the bill list like this. I stand with my word. I stand what I have to say. I'm not afraid to hide. But if I have an issue with the payroll, I'll be the first person to make a motion amendment to remove that. So, and that's not just for payroll. If there's a vendor, if there's something that, you could remove it easily. That's how simple it is. Just want the facts to be laid out there, and then you'll see how people vote on it. Madam Clerk, Ms. Mohammed, did I answer your question? Because I do not want that wrath that you said I can't go home if you don't answer the question. So I answered your question? All right, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I want to say to Ms. Mohammed, everyone who should have gotten something in the mail from the state of New Jersey, what I'll do is I have a copy because I received one because I am a homeowner to show you what it looks like. But even renters should have gotten the same. Yeah, they both have the same, but there's a code in there that you go on. So I'm going to share that with you so this way we can help share with the grandparents in your building, with the Grandparent Center. Also, we haven't had no meeting for community development, so I don't know when, and the chair is our council president, so I'm not sure when they're gonna decide about what's gonna happen with the CBG money. We haven't gotten anything yet. I just wanna say too, we haven't gotten no, we haven't. I just wanna say to the Felix, the Husu family, I just can't believe that Jerry Speziel, with Corporation Council at, that what you, where's Corey? He went out, but.
Where's Corporation Council? Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, that I hear what you're saying, but I can't believe that he's putting the blame on us now. Right, I know, but I don't know where he's at, but please, you all know, we all know. We've been asking, and for someone to say it's on us, I have to see him myself to see, but we've all been asking, we all want to get answered, we all want all that, and you're in our prayers, you're in my prayers. People say, I'm standing here because God's allowed me to sit here. I ain't sitting here on my own. God's allowed me to be here and to go through different things that's happening, but I'm not sure what it is, but I just want to say too, I just want to answer Sebastian. You talked about don't pay nothing. That was part of your, when you first started. I remember the city of Camden. You remember how the state of New Jersey came in and took the city of Camden over? You remember how they came in here and took the police department over? I can't even imagine having to call the police and nobody show up. I can't even imagine my house is burning up, I got no fire department to come. I remember clearly when the city of New York had the garbage strike. I clearly remember that. Garbage was everywhere. I clearly remember. So there's some things that we want to do, not to do, but you don't want to put yourself, they said it many times before, if the state of New Jersey comes in here, you probably won't even be able to pay your property taxes. That's how much they'll raise it. They will. I'm just saying, but I hear what you're saying. Sometimes we have to look at certain things, and we have to separate certain bills. We have to separate, but I just remember the city of Camden. I just remember the city of New York when they were going through those problems. to shut everything down, and I need to get a cop to my house because somebody's breaking into my house, when you can't call nobody to do anything, it's kind of scary. Put it that way. To me, it's scary that you won't be able to. I'm not saying that. I'm just answering. Please. It's sad. It is sad. We're all suffering. It is sad. But I want to say to, you know who did that lot over there on King Street? Let me say, my corporation counsel, I've been sitting here with 5 corporation counsel. I've been sitting here asking them to go after that lady. I've been sitting here, went to warrant squad myself. She had a warrant for her arrest, and nobody still went and got her. She know how to play the system. You know, you got people out there that can play the system. They know how to play the system. Right, they play it. And I'm just saying, I want to thank the DPW department, Mess, and Michael Jackson. They were going there to do it. They were going there, and my DPW crew was going there. And I say to Corporation Counsel, please, you've got to do something. He's number 5 since I've been sitting here as far as the Corporation Counsel. Right, but I'm just saying he has to, but also, thank you, Mess. Thank you, Michael Jackson. Thank you, DPW. I ride over there, and they know that over there it needs lights. We asked them to fence it. It still hasn't gotten fenced. We asked for lights. It's so dark over there. Please, community, when you see lights out, this city is dark. It's absolutely dark. If you see lights out on these poles, wait till the next day. Give us a pole number. This city is absolutely dark. We need to get this city lit up some kind of way. But I just want to say that I'm glad that we passed that item for the ATVs and the bicycles. My next question, and my public safety man not even here. Why we can't shut down BP gas station on Saturday night? I get calls after calls. They're partying over there night after night. Why we can't stop this partying at BP gas station 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning? How you see it get started, how you can't stop it? I get calls all Friday night, Saturday night. They partying at that BP gas station. The gas station is closed. They're on top of the trucks dancing. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, yeah, I hope he ain't over there with them. I hope he ain't over there. But I'm just saying, please, BA, please, something got to be done. Something got to be done about that BP gas station. It's just absolutely horrible. I want to say to Elvis, you always bring excitement and good things to the community. And you know what? Let me just say to you, Deborah Hannibal, our personnel, when I first got here, you know what I said? Like, why don't we have increments and steps with our city workers? If I've been here for 10 years, I shouldn't be making the same as somebody who's just coming in the door. You have steps, you have increments. Every job I work in, you had increments. The longer you be somewhere, you get steps. So that's what my thought was. As being a union person, you have increments. So I hear what you're saying, that something has to be done with that. And I just want to say to Kevin, where he at? He left. You know what? When I leave here at night, and we're not as late as we usually be sometimes, but there's so much stuff that's happening. There was a funeral yesterday. There was a funeral today. And to the family, I wish we could get answers, and I'm gonna get some answers about what was said tonight, some kind of way. I'm gonna get some kind of answers for that. So, but there is, people walk up on you so quickly. I was getting in my car, the guy just like came right behind me like quick. If you're not like paying attention, there's just things that can just happen like so fast. Just like, yeah. I mean, it's dangerous, but we're with you. I mean, I can't, Madam Clerk, I just want to answer some of those questions for you, Wahida, and for those that need help. We're going to be able to help them to figure out how to do that. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Davila?
Okay, I clearly am not going to go through every person that addressed the council. I think that Councilwoman Cotton pretty much addressed almost everyone, but I am going to say this and put it on record to the De Jesus family. All right, I am the chair of public safety, and we have the two councilwomen at large who are part of public safety, along with Councilman Velez. We have had meetings. I do not know, I can't even fathom why he would have made that statement about the council. He's waiting on the council, because clearly, and we have Corporation Counsel who has just walked into the room, all right, and we can clearly address him that the council has no jurisdiction over what's going on right now. So I'm just putting that on record and letting you know, I did speak to Ms. Garcia outside, and I let her know, I don't know why he said that, but that is not true, and we will, as a committee, be addressing that, as well as I'd like Madam BA also to find out, you know, what occurred and why that statement was made. In addition, and I understand that pretty much the prosecutor's office no longer has the I-8 piece of it. I know that the Internal Affairs was doing, and I think they're at a level right now where they're waiting on, I guess, through Corporation Counsel. So I'm going to put this on record, as I addressed you, Council President is aware of this as well, and our committee, that if there is a way that a letter then could be submitted, okay, to the Attorney General's office for them to take over this investigation fully. In addition, if they do not respond, then to take it all the way to the U.S. Attorney General. This is, I mean, every week we're like a broken record. We look like liars, and you know what? There's a family hurting. There's a mother out there hurting as well. So Corporation Counsel, I'm asking you, on behalf of this council, I don't think anyone here is going to say no, that we need to address the Attorney General's office on taking over. Do you have something to say to that before I vote?
Yes, Council President, may I briefly?
Yes.
So thank you, Councilwoman Davila, for that. I know you and I had a discussion yesterday about this issue, and I would be happy to draft that letter. I would just respectfully request that the council put a motion on the floor and vote on it so that it's adopted, because the last time a letter was sent, not all council members said that they wanted to be a part of that. And so I want it clear for the record who wants to be a part of that letter. I'm happy to draft that letter, and whoever votes for it, I'll put them on that letter. Whoever doesn't vote for it, it's certainly their prerogative. They won't be on the letter.
So Corporation Counsel, this is a live meeting right here. Is anyone here against it? No, we don't have to do a resolution. We are on live TV right now. There is a transcript being drawn right now. There is 9 members. Is anyone, we're all here, is anyone against that letter being submitted? I don't want to go through a resolution, then a second. I don't want to do that. It's going to take longer. We need it done like yesterday. So
Yeah,
is anyone here opposed?
It's just a simple motion on the floor to have my office, just 1 second for clarity purposes, to have my office draft a letter to the New Jersey Attorney General requesting that, 1, the Attorney General's office take over the investigation, and 2, that they take any action they deem appropriate
Point
in
of
relationship
order.
to the De Jesus matter.
Okay, and Councilwoman Mims, you're correct. Councilwoman Mims.
Let's finish the roll call, then we'll.
Yes,
we'll-
so
we'll
Councilwoman Mims, you are correct, all right? It was out of order, but I can't just take it anymore. We're constantly stopping, and then now you have entities out there stating that we, the council, haven't taken action on something. So all I was saying and addressing the Corporation Counsel, as I should in my closing, because he is our legal counsel, to put forward that letter. So I don't know why it should go to a vote when, and I understand what he's saying, because I was here before, but I'm saying it now. Is anyone here opposed? If they're not, Corporation Counsel, I've requested for that letter to move forward on behalf of the council. With that said, I'm not going to address anyone else. My vote is yes to close.
Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So, there's so much that was discussed today. Just trying to make sure we hit all the points. You know, I know there was some talk about someone, I think Councilwoman Cotton talked about possibly not imagining cops not showing up. I get residents that call me every single day, say they call a cop, they never showed up. They never showed up. So that happens on a regular here because because of poor leadership. It's not about officers not trying to do their job. It's clearly poor leadership. No questions ever are answered here, Madam Mohammed. You know, Councilman McCoy and I may disagree on quite a few things, but I have to acknowledge when he sat here as the president and he sat here as a council person, you can acknowledge that when you came to the microphone, your matters got addressed. Then you didn't have to wait. If there was an issue that took too long, the BA was called to question. You guys would go to the side. She was required by this council to answer the questions. My question to you is, when has any question been answered by this administration, by this BA? Anything? I have called to question many times, pretty much been on a bending knee, asking this council to take its rightful place. It is a false narrative. It is a false narrative if any council person tries to dispel to you that this council has no authority. The council has equal authority to the mayor. Read the bylaws. It's part of the Faulkner Act. The council has equal authority. This is mayor council strong. It's not mayor strong, not administrator strong. It's the mayor council strong. The council as a body can call the administration to question. We have the authority to do so. It has never happened as a committee of the whole. Let's talk about some of the other continued infractions, right? When we talk about the racial disparities, you have a position that was created under this administration. It was called the Chief of Staff position. There was a salary given to that position, as many people know here, right? And then all of a sudden there was a retro salary paid. So there was a promise and there was a retro salary. Someone from the community who happened to have been of color, a black person, let's be specific, was given the same position with a price reduction. So they got paid less. They were required to be here every single night. That person was then pushed on. We then hired a new chief of staff. Has anyone ever seen the chief of staff here? This council is silent on these issues. So you have people getting paid, people running block for what's going on, and you have $50,000 pay increases that are greater than people's entire salaries as they've been employed for 30+ years. But this council fails yet again to act. In fact, the council acted in the opposite way. We've approved those pay increases, no, those ranges. Let me not fall off topic here. So, separation of payment of bills, of course it can happen. Just like any one council person can bring it forward, I brought forward the fact that Brook Slope should be endowed with an increased extension on their pilot, yet it falls on deaf ears. We're still working on that. Let's talk about the continued disrespect to members of this community that I have singularly sat here night in and night out and taken issues with. People like Kaheem Hunt, who is still, he's on the roll as an active employee, but yet being discriminated against for his position, still not being paid. I mean, I'm not gonna make any assertions, but young Jackson that came here a few weeks ago, still not an answer. He came to the podium. You see the act, the show. Madam BA, do you have an answer for us? Crickets, no answer. But we got a $50,000 pay increase with 2 full-time deputy business administrators. Let's talk about Miss Gina Johnson. She come to this microphone. She's grown up in this city, reared her child in this city. He applied 3 times, came out extremely high on the list. We still have yet to make changes. This council, equal authority, this council has yet to move on changing the psychologists that continuously discriminates the people from this community people can't seem to pass the psychological exam. That young man paid to have an exam that totally discredited the competency, much like the mayor trying to discredit Dr. Botten, one of the most esteemed doctors in the country, who said something totally contradicting. And then what does the administration do? They move to make a motion to have that information concealed. I thought it was about transparency. I thought it was about full disclosure. Let's talk about the fire truck that ran the red light, right? So I asked for a report. I get all of this. These are all the fire reports for the fires that have taken place, yet the report for that still has not to be submitted. And, you know, when you talk about the dangers in this community, that could have been somebody's family that got struck by that truck. Thank God it was another fire engine, but you blatantly run a red light, and there is no scrutiny. Where's the policy? Never mind the firefighter, because that falls on the shoulders of poor leadership. Where's the policy? Was the policy violated? Was there a policy rewritten? Because when you put the lives of people in our community at risk, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, because people don't believe how dangerous it is in this community, because it's extremely dangerous because of issues like that, things like that. To Mr. Mejia, I mean, I appreciate your effort, but council members don't take care of those kinds of responsibilities. That falls on the shoulders of the administration. We acknowledge that they're not doing anything, but that would be, you know, all of the community issues, such as the garbage that's ridden in the street, because I heard someone say earlier, I don't want the streets to be dirty and rats to be running around. I mean, last I checked, the streets are horrendous. They're dirty everywhere. The rat count is out of control. But yet we continuously pay these companies that come in here and render poor services. So yet again, let me continue on this note. The council has equal authority to the administration. The council, they've done it before. It was displayed. Former Councilman Bill McCoy sat here along with former Councilman Ken Morris. They sat at a table right there. There was an investigation that took place. Where's the investigation that's taking place now? Where's the investigation that's taking place on all the inappropriate expenditures? I requested through the chair to the chair of finance. Where's the expenditures report for Hinchcliffe Stadium? Still haven't gotten it. Nothing. We allow people to come in here and spend money. The mayor just went and cut a deal with the Jackals, as Brother Mejia talked about. I still have not seen the contract. That falls within our purview. Where's the contract? Where's the agreement? Has there been a comparative analysis based on what they were paying Montclair and what they're paying Paterson? Who's benefiting from that contract? You, the taxpayers, we gave up $60+ million in tax credits, $25 million in bonding funding that's going to come directly from the taxpayers out of their tax revenue. We gave it away to them. The original budget was $90 million. Now has been pushed to $120 million. We still don't have an expense report. We don't know where the money was spent. The developer walked away with $15 million. We don't know how much they contributed, but they're the ones that's going to be collecting the rent. And then on top of that, the team already released their schedule without us even formalizing an agreement. The school board hasn't formalized an agreement. This mayor is rogue, and this council is sitting on their hands doing nothing. Doing nothing. Last, poor leadership. Poor leadership. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna be here every night. I'm gonna expose the truth. You don't like it, make me stop. They can't. I was there to witness. I was there to witness the out of control activity. I saw the physical confrontation, and I'm happy I was there for you, because I think had I not been there, it would have been another hospital visit. So I think you should include that in your complaint, because you should not have to be there. Council people think they're more than what they are. You come to the microphone, they tell you how you can speak. They violate your First Amendment right. They tell you where you can go. Listen, are you a security guard or are you a council member? Are you what is your role? Because as a council member, as a council, as a body, we're failing the community. I'm just gonna say that. We have completely failed this community. Somebody said this is the worst they've ever seen it. I would concur with that. This is the absolute worst the city's ever been in. The rogue lawlessness that goes on in this community. Yesterday we had a young man that was shot by a police officer. You know, it's like it's the Wild Wild West. It's business as usual. It's business as usual. The streets are dirtier than they've ever been. The violence, the people just. Anyway, listen, Miss Hannibal, she can give any look that she wants to. She can look over with disdain if she wants to or not. If there's something that I'm saying that's untrue, I challenge someone to challenge the legitimacy of my claim. All they say, that's not true. We deal with facts. Okay, so tell me what those facts are. And then tell me what have I said that's not factual. No one has ever seen it. I have never seen the new chief of staff in this council chambers. Mr. Muhammad, you're here all the time. Have you seen him? $100,000 salary, more than Ms. Fisher was making. This person's being paid. What's his role? What is his role? He doesn't come here. He doesn't do anything. It was told to us before, oh, well, she's doing something different than the former. But yet, we have people being paid for jobs that they're not doing. And it's coming out right out of the taxpayers' dollars. So it's no surprise to me that you come to the microphone, you ask for an answer, and you get a callous answer. If you're done, I'll call the next speaker. We are here for the public. We are here to answer the questions and concerns of the public. We're not here for our own agenda. Yes, the process has been commandeered. It has been changed to benefit the rogue activity of this mayor and how the collaboration amongst certain people and this administration to continuously roll over our community. Give away money, allow people to make tremendous amounts of money. I'm gonna say this last thing in closing, right? Because people continuously say, oh, I get it, we get it done. We get things done. What's been done? We spent a lot of money on parks. There's still no programming. I'm still paying a lot of money for my kids to participate in any extracurricular activities. We're still traveling. My daughters, I travel to Union City 5 days a week for them to play softball in Union City. You think you're gonna stop? That's when people don't understand this community. They don't really understand what they're doing. You can't stop violence with more policing. You go to communities that don't have a great deal of violence, they don't have police. They're not overran with police. They have programming. We don't even do any programming. When have you seen any programming come from this administration? None. In fact, the young man talked about today that the soccer field, the kids can't even play on it. So now they're all fighting for Buckley that's being overran. But let me just finish with this. You know, because we continuously talk about what the intent is for the community, and it's clear. It's clear. The city's being ran over with. It's being ran into the ground. There's not going to be, I'll be surprised if anything is left when this is done, because the misappropriation of the dollars that are being spent here, there's more money that's been spent during this administration ever before. There's zero oversight, zero, none. There's no reports on spending There's no reports on acquisition, nothing. They simply approve whatever they want to. There's no legislation being written. There is being written by the administration just to say, oh, moved it, I want my name on it. Anyway, it's tiring, but says the bully, says the guy that wants to go back there and have a physical confrontation with his senior citizen. And I no disrespect, but he is substantially older than him. Says the gentleman that's been charged twice by 2 different women for abuse. Yes, don't listen. If you want to, don't. What you making noises about? He down there making comments. See, Brother Gilmore, your statement was very true. When the truth resonates, it becomes an issue. Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before I address some of the comment from the public portion, I believe it's extremely important, and Corporation Counsel, you are here. Commissioner T, when he came to the mic, he made a very serious comment about our director, and this is a meeting, this is a televised meeting, and he should clarify that in public. When he say outside that he's waiting for the council to take action, and also when he mentioned, according with Commissioner T, that if we'll be handling the investigation, Mr. Feli de Jesus will be found on the next day. For me, it's almost impossible, and I'm speaking, Council Cali. If you allow me, can I, Councilman Adalasi, can I continue? Yeah, yes, that's how you are. So, yeah, that's you. So with that being said, Corporation Counsel, I think it's extremely important for our director to bring clarity into those comments. It's very concerning for me. I've been listening to the Feli de Jesus family. I'm feeling their pain for over 8 months, and that's a serious comment. I've been making calls and asking questions and try to get information, and we get the same response. There's an ongoing investigation. It's over 8 months. Now, we're planning to pass this investigation to another authority. So what is the result of the investigation at this moment? I want to know, as a legislator, as a member of this council elected by the public, I would like to know what happened after 8 months of this investigation. And with that comment, after that, I would like to address you that because I really, really want to see a response based on that. It's very uncomfortable for me to sit there and just think that nothing happened after what Commissioner Coriti said about the director and that comment. Because I know, maybe I know that's incorrect, that the council have the authority. That's incorrect. I'm sorry. Just let me finish.
Councilman.
Just let me finish.
Please.
I know it's incorrect that this council has the authority. I know that, but I would like to hear from him. And the second comment is very concerning to me. We already have enough problem in the city. Mr. Dave Gilmore, former director, I'm not surprised about the things that are happening to you, because leadership matter, and because of the lack of enforcement, the lack of leadership, and how this mayor go after people when they're not in line with what he wants, with his plan. The same thing that happened to you happened to many people, and because of that, this city is going to have to pay millions of dollars in lawsuit. We, the taxpayer, we, the homeowner, we are the ones that are going to pay for his mistake and for his retaliation against hardworking people when they want to do the job, when they want to do the right thing. And I'm just gonna, we are the legislative body. And when we have a city that is not enforcing the law that we have in the book, there's going to be a problem. That's the reason why Paterson will look like right now. Let me just give you an example. When I come back to the council, I sponsored the legislation to increase the fine for up to $10,000 for people that are dumping garbage in the street, and minimum $25,000. People are continue dumping garbage. There's no enforcement. there is a problem with the administration. We do the job as a legislator. I feel great about the job that I've been doing here. I'm very independent. And when I put a legislation on the floor and we approve it, I'm hoping that the administration is going to do the enforcement piece in order for us to have a safe city, a clean city. They have to do their job. Mr. Rocker spoke about those dirt bikes. I sponsored that legislation to go after those illegal bikes. And I totally agree with the second piece. And Councilman Velez and I, we're already working with Corporation Council to stop those gas stations from serving those illegal bikes. So, last but not least, the rebate program to our constituent in the third ward. I've been getting a lot of calls. We've been helping a lot of people. If you have any question, I know you've received that bill, reach out to me, 973-930-1436. We'll be more than happy to help you one-on-one. So we have a team of people helping our constituent with that, and we're going to talk about that on our next town hall meeting that is going to be this following Monday at 7 p.m. And it's going to be through Zoom, so we're going to give you all the information. That way you could participate. You could log in from any place. So we try to make it accessible to every resident in the city of Paterson. And I just want to mention that I attend at the ESNA, East Side Neighborhood Association meeting. I attend the meeting with the sheriff, with Sheriff Richard Bernick, because we have a commitment. We have an agreement, a sheriff services agreement with the sheriff department to make sure that he provide sheriff's officers to address quality of life in the city. I'm very concerned. He commit himself to have additional unit in the third ward, but that's what I hope to see in the entire city of Paterson. There's more discussion after this public portion with some of the items related with public safety. And with that being said, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So there, to all the speakers, first let me say what I say every week. I want to thank you for always sacrificing your time and coming down to the city council chambers to voice your concerns, to allow the council to hear them, the administration to hear them, and prayerfully they will get some resolution. So I want to thank you for that. To the De Jesus family, every time you come, I write it down. 252 days too long. I want to thank you for your continued diligence and your persistence in coming down to ask the question, where is Felix De Jesus? I'm not sure about what comment was made in the hallway, what was stated to this family, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to the public. I don't have any information. I'm not hiding nothing from the family. I've talked to the family on numerous occasions, so I don't want anyone saying that me or the council can speak for themselves, but I'm going to say for me. I don't have any information. We've been asking, requesting, communicating privately and publicly about answers. When is the investigation over? I requested in the public the timeline of how long an IA investigation takes. The information was sent to myself and council president. We've been asking, questioning every single week. So I'm going to say it again. I don't have any information. I don't know what's being waited on the council to do. And whatever that is, I pray that it comes to us so we can do whatever that is, because we haven't gotten anything. And that's the honest truth. The dumping that's going on is terrible. We've been promised cameras. We voted on cameras. We're going to get more cameras. We're still awaiting. Some areas we were told because of the internet connection in those particular areas that it's hard to put cameras because the system won't be able to get the information because there's no signal. So I'm going to ask Madam B.A. with all of this money that we have in our city, that we look into an internet solution, because if that's a concern in some of the areas where there's a lot of dumping and we can't get an internet signal, then maybe there should be some Wi-Fi router capability or whatever's needed with a lot of bandwidth to make sure that we can provide that for those areas. And then the perpetrators, in the particular area that's been talked about, DPW is there. They've been there for years. This is nothing new. They've been going there 2-3 times a week. I think most of us have reported it. They've been there. We've watched them, and it's sad that DPW is cleaning it when everyone knows who the perpetrator is. They know who she is. It's a she. Everyone knows. They posted her picture. They have sent it to the police department. She's been to court. And it's just ridiculous what's going on because everybody knows what's doing. The resolution is not, hooray, I got DPW clean up. No, it should be what's in place, the law. She should be fined to the fullest extent of the law, and it should be taken to those steps. That's what should happen. Now I went there, DPW cleaned it up, because like everyone said, they're going back in 2 days. She's going to go tonight and drop a boat over there, because there's boats that be there. Furniture, everything, you name it, is in that area and is there consistent. This is one of many areas. But it's amazing to me, Councilwoman Cotton, that no matter what we do, even if they call us, they ain't giving no woman no credit. I'm going to just say it. They just ain't giving no woman no credit.
Thank you.
And, so I have to shake my head sometimes. To some of the speakers that spoke in regards to the concerns and the issues, keep coming, keep speaking. But I need to say this because it was mentioned and we can't do it now. But I'm going to say this when the motion does come to the floor. I'm not voting on any more blanket items on this council. Nothing. If it's not written, if it's not in paper, it's not a manifested document. And with everything that's going on in this city, it should be something on paper. It should be something in writing. And I'll say it was me the last time, because something was sent out on behalf of the council and I was not fully aware. And I said, next time, let us know. So I'm going to say it for me. I'm speaking for MIMS. I'm one of 9. They have whatever they want to do. But if we don't have it in writing, where I can look, because that's what we do. Everything we have tonight in front of you is in writing. If we have something in writing, it needs to be amended. We vote on the amendment on the floor, we get a second. But without anything that we see, what it states, what we're gonna do, I cannot vote on it. Because for me, I don't know what's gonna be said. And then I'm saying, yeah, say that for me, or do that for me. No, I need to see it in writing. I wanna see what you're writing. I'm not trusting anybody with my name. My name is all I have. And if something is coming to this council, it needs to be in written form so we can see it, look over it like we do every Friday, review these documents, and then we come back before. Some people may not agree, and that's their choice. But there's some things that came before us, and they told us one thing, and we voted, and it was something else. So until that changes, you heard it from MIMS first. I want it in writing. And I'm going to say it again. If it's not written, it doesn't happen. If it's not written, it's not fact. And we need something in writing before us that we can see it as a document and say, yes, let's vote on it. Yay, nay, whatever you vote, right? And in closing, it is true that when items come before, you can amend the item or you can adjust it. You can always do that. You got to get the votes to make sure it goes through. It's not just, you can do it, but you got to make the votes to make it go through. The program that they're sending out notices for is called the New Jersey Anchor Relief Program. New Jersey Anchor Relief Program. And what it does is going back to 2019. So if you have not gotten your paperwork, then you go on irs.gov and you put in search New Jersey Anchor Relief Program. The reason why it's going to be important, most people don't keep their W-2 records or their income tax statements from 2019. So what you will do, you go on, there's an online application, but you also have to go into the archive to get your transcript for your 2019 tax return. I'm going to say that again. If you don't have your 2019 tax return, you will be at a loss until you find it. And the way you find it is on irs.gov. You go in the search and put archived tax return. In the bottom right-hand corner, you have to go in and register and get a signed ID form. They do all the stuff for you. It takes 24 hours. You got to submit your driver's license or your passport in there, and then they allow you access into the IRS website. After you do all of that, When you go on to do your archive in the bottom right-hand corner, you click on transcript, your 2019 tax return will come up because you need your AGI, which is your adjusted gross income, to fill out the paperwork. So it's called the New Jersey Anchor Relief Program. Google it, go on there tonight. It was passed on March 22nd of this year, in March, and the money will be out sometime next year. So go on there. If you make $250,000 or less, you are eligible to receive, I believe it's $1,500. So please go on there, Anchor Relief Program. And renters get a different amount, but homeowners, $1,500. So go on there, New Jersey Anchor Relief Program. We thank our legislators and President Biden for fighting to get some relief to our homeowners and taxpayers. We're grateful for that, and there's some that didn't vote at the state level to support it, but we're grateful for all of our Democratic partners that made sure they voted for this item. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Woody?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Hello, Paterson, those that are watching us live, those that are here. So here's me, your councilman at large. There is no day that I did not drive around the city, I did not walk around the city. One thing, what I saw when I teach at Paterson Public Schools, when one of our teachers get praised for their services, we all praise the teacher. That's what I learned. But the city council is opposite, which is when someone is doing better job than others, then you are the bad guy in the council. Doesn't matter, just know this, I'm here to serve you. Along with my legislative duty, I'm providing the legislative service. On the weekends, everyone knows that until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock morning, I'm outside. Some police officers saw me, and gentlemen over there saw me at 3 o'clock in the morning in downtown. That's me. Doesn't matter who thinks about me, what, doesn't matter. I'm here because you voted for me. I'm getting salary because of my service. It's my duty to serve you. One thing I need to cover here, there's no day that I did not send an email to address an issue. Every day, there are 2-3 emails I'm sending to the departments, whether there's a pothole, there's a light issue, there's a traffic light is not working, there's a street sign is, traffic sign is missing. Every day. There's no day that I'm not sending report to the departments with the issues, addressing issues. Yes, it's not my job to go there and clean the trash. That's true. It's not my job to go and put the sign up. It's my job to address the issue to the correct department. And that's all I'm doing here. Before I start, I have to thank the wonderful, incredible people of the DPW department, the director, Billy Rodriguez, Director of Economic Development, Michael Powell, for taking the job seriously. I sent an email, I got your response back right away. It means a lot. You care about Paterson, that's what it means to me. It doesn't matter who's saying what about you. To me, you care about Paterson. Now, yes, one of the issues we talked about, the specific location, which is King Street and Summer Street. The pile of the trash that's cleaned up by DPW crews. And what's the second step to stop this? Yes, we have UZ fund, which is $1.7 million, which is coming. This location, we can talk about the cameras on wheels or stationary camera. I'll sit down with my council colleague, 4th Ward Councilwoman Cotton, to see if we come up with a permanent solution. What I have done, which is just addressing issue, and whatever was solved, this is temporary solution, but we need permanent solution for that. Now, let me talk about the other issues. My council colleagues, thank you for your cooperation. Every single ward council members, I get support from everyone. Anything specific, I need to help you with anything, I'm there for you. And I mentioned on my first council meeting that I'm doing my night patrolling, and someone has asked me, why do I do night patrolling? What I can address at night, you cannot address it during daytime. Whether there is a traffic light that's not working, how would you know during daytime? How do you know what section of Paterson is a high crime rate if you do not drive around the city at night? How do you know there's a traffic light is not working if you just drive during the daytime? And I'm a full-time teacher. I don't have time to drive in the city in the morning time. So I definitely use my nighttime for constituent service. Paterson, all these speakers, the praise came to me. I want to send this praise to our wonderful people that's working for the city. Your words encourage us to more. And I'd like to thank everyone who supported me, who's supporting me today, and just pray for me that to work for you. I'm not a politician and public servant. I'm professionally a public servant, a teacher. And here, the new profession that I'm in, I'm doing the public servant. Doesn't matter who politician like it or doesn't like it. Here's the thing. The other so many speakers had just so many issues. Since we have the executive session, and because of that, I'm going to stop right here. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Since 2016 or before, Councilman Velez, and before was Louis Velez, before the title, I've been hit left and right, and I still stand strong. You know why? Because those that fear God understand what I'm going to say now. Proverbs 10:14 says, the wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of the fool invite ruins. In other words, Proverbs 10:14 says, wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. In other words, interpretation, New Bible, Living Translation say, the wise people treasure knowledge, but the babbling of the fool invite disaster. The other one says, the New King James Version says, the wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. I could keep on and on and on. One thing I gotta say is, I'm here to serve. I don't have to defend the work that I do. The people will see it. And God bless whoever hate me, and whoever love me, bless them more. But I'm here to serve. We have an agenda to move forward. I will address the individual that came on some questions like Wahida Muhammad. But I know how to read signs. My vote is yes, Madam
Mr. President.
Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before I vote, Administration, Madam BA, Corporation Council, you heard the concern of the residents, also some of the council colleagues. I would like you guys to address some of those issues.
Correct.
Such as Pennington Park, the Jesus family, CDBG money allocation, Anchor rebate, so forth. Madam BA, Corporation Council, go ahead.
Thank you, Council President. I can address first the Pennington Park issue. I think Sebastian Mejia had brought this up. The damage to Pennington Park is, instead of 2 years, it was actually 1 year ago. It was the Hurricane Ida, September of 2021. We're currently working with FEMA in a mitigation effort to make some changes to that area so that if there's flooding again, it won't cause the type of damage that it's causing. So unfortunately, there is a delay in that field's being able to be used. But we have been working on it pretty much for the entire last year, all of our efforts with FEMA. The second question, Ms. Mohammed, about the CDBG action plan. Yes, that is something that's going to be going to Community Development Committee. It is something that the mayor is going to be weighing in on this week, and we told our community development director that when we met at our last cabinet meeting. I know Councilman Abdelaziz addressed the Anchor program, as did Councilwoman Mims. And in terms of a quick note on the camera update, We are working with our Chief Innovation Officer is working with the police department and with an outside group at Rutgers to do an assessment of our current camera system so that we try to figure out exactly what type of investments we can make through our American Rescue Plan funds to make sure that it addresses the places that do not have proper Wi-Fi connections, do not have internet. It's going to be also part of a kind of an overall smart cities issue. So I think those are the items that I can address at this time.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel?
Thank you, Council President. So, first
Corporation
and
Counsel will
foremost,
answer the Corporation Counsel.
first and foremost,
Yes.
I wasn't outside when this conversation allegedly happened. I didn't hear the director make those comments. I know the director to be a man of integrity and straightforward, and to the extent that he needs to clarify anything that he said, I'm sure he'll do so either in public or in a committee setting. But I certainly can't answer for anything that he said. And like I said, I didn't hear anything. The second thing is that I want to clarify that, again, I don't know what was said. I know people are making allegations as to what was said.
Please, no back and forth. Come on, please.
But
Please, no back and forth. Continue,
but to
Corporation
clarify,
Counsel.
and I've made this absolutely clear, the council is not responsible for anything having to do with the De Jesus matter.
Thank you.
I know the council has done what they can. I've had a lot of conversations with every member of this council about this issue. It's unfortunate that I am bound by state law, and I can't even tell the council what's going on. I had asked the county prosecutor on numerous occasions to permit the family and others, including the council. I've asked on behalf of council so the council can see what, if anything, is going on with the internal affairs investigation. That's been denied. I've asked the prosecutor's office to release it publicly to the family. That request has been denied. And again, I'm not going to speak for the prosecutor. I am not the prosecutor. I can only make these requests, but I want to be clear that the council is not and cannot be responsible for these things as a legislative body. The other thing that I want to say, and again, I've said this before, so forgive me if it's being repeated, but I think it needs to be repeated. The internal affairs process is confidential. That does not mean there is no internal affairs investigation. That also does not mean that the internal affairs investigation is ongoing. It could mean that it's completed. It could mean many things, but I cannot say what it is. The police director cannot say what it is. The police chief cannot say what it is. So I don't want anyone to assume that because we cannot speak about it, that there are not things going on. Lastly, I will say that, one thing that we can say and make public is any major discipline. And I said this to the family already outside in the hallway. That's one thing that I can take accountability for, and I'll say it again in public for everyone's edification. One thing that we're permitted to do is disclose publicly discipline that is more than 5 days. Any discipline that is termed major, which is defined more than 5 days, we can disclose publicly. So if and when discipline related to this matter is meted out, and if it is more than 5 days, assuming that this actually happens, then we can publicly disclose it, and I'll be happy to do so. So other than that, Council President, hopefully my remarks have clarified. Once again, I would like to give Director Spezial the opportunity to make any statements. We've heard what someone says he said, but certainly he should come here or speak with the council individually.
Thank you, Corporation Counsel.
You're welcome.
My vote is yes to close the public portion, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 against. The public portion for the regular meeting of October 11th, 2022 is hereby adjourned. Mr. President, we have the executive session for 8:15.
Yes, we do, Madam Clerk. Before we go to executive session, I see a city planner here for item number 7. Let's take item number 7 now.
Yes, sir.
Council President, while he's coming to the podium, can I make a request to Corporation Council, please?
Corporation Council? Councilman Jackson.
Corporation Council, I have a small request. Can you please provide for me the city policy on how employees are handled when they have sick time or leave time? Is there the policy in place that we send individuals from the city, employees, to the homes of employees who are out on leave, sick and or whatever leave time, to check on whether or not an employee is at home?
Council President, may I?
Please.
May I address him? Thank you, Councilman Jackson, for the request. I don't know that's something my department can fulfill, but I will certainly look into it. Can I have some more clarification? Are you referring to any specific department or subdivision within the city to help narrow the result? Or are you just talking citywide policy, what's in the handbook?
Citywide policy. There's
Okay.
employees that are being targeted for various reasons, and I'm trying to figure out, they're being told that it's a citywide policy that I'm not familiar with. So, I mean, if we can,
Thank
if
you.
you or Madam BA, if your office can provide that policy for me for more clarity, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk, can you read item number 7,
Yes.
first reading into the record?
Yes, Mr. President. Next item on the agenda is a first reading ordinance. And this is item number 7. No public hearing is required. Item number 7 reads, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the City of Paterson, Chapter 483, zoning and land development, to create an overlay zone known as the Lafayette Street High Density Overlay District, applied to block 3019, lots 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, economic development.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez,
Council President.
second by Councilwoman Davila and
I gotta ask him
Councilwoman
some-
Mims. Discussion, Councilwoman Cotton.
The only concern I have with this was not in our home package. We just got this today. That's what I need. I didn't know, it wasn't in mine because I opened my home package here in the office.
It was.
Oh, well,
The Council
I mean,
President?
I'm just saying
no,
it
no,
was
no,
here, but it wasn't
it's okay,
in
we're
my
not
home
gonna,
package.
we're not gonna go back
Council-
and
No,
forth.
that's
Yes,
right. I'm saying it
Councilwoman,
was.
yes,
But
yes.
my concern is that, you know, to me, why do we put stuff on a regular meeting, which should be discussed in a workshop? Then you can come to the regular meeting. I don't understand that. Like, why wasn't this done at the workshop?
Council President?
And we're gonna spend 30 minutes, because he's gonna have to go to a long explanation. Oh, nobody don't tell me no, please. No, I'm just saying to you, why wasn't this done in a workshop?
okay,
Why could it not wait to go into a workshop?
Councilwoman Cotton.
You talk about protocol.
Councilwoman Cotton.
You talk about
Cotton.
protocol.
Yes, can I explain?
You talk about
The-
protocol, you talk about the right way of doing stuff. Everyone sitting here knows what the right way of doing stuff.
Right,
Just-
Councilwoman Cotton.
That's what I wanted to
This
tell you.
item was, can I explain something? This item was on the agenda, not last workshop prior to that.
Correct.
Due to the planner could not make it, that's why we took that off. The last week, planner was here, because we said we're gonna put it on the following
but-
week.
but my
But the
question
item wasn't on
is-
the agenda.
my
But
thing is
all
that-
the information was in home package. If you have any question,
No, all kind of
Councilwoman,
excuses
he's
are coming
here
up,
so he could
why it was
answer the
taken
questions.
off, why it was taken off, why it was taken off.
No, it was discussed in committee
Wait a
also.
minute. Oh.
Yeah.
Council member,
I'm not-
Councilwoman Cotton has the,
I'm not in
Cotton has the
economic-
floor.
I'm not in
Go ahead, you have
economic
any
development
question, just
committee.
ask them,
And
please.
my question is, we're only talking about like 10 lots. It's about 10 lots. And see, the only condition that I have here is that once this is applied, then we don't have no say-so what goes there. Answer the question. We don't have no say-so. Once we say okay, then we don't have a say-so of what goes in that spot.
Council,
And then it goes back to the planning
Yes,
board. That's my question.
Councilman
So
Powell.
just first, formally, I just want to apologize for, there were some scheduling issues that happened previously. And so, but I do have the planner here now to provide any answers to any of the questions that you have regarding this zoning overlay. So I'll introduce John Barry from Hiring Rule right now.
I'm sorry, Council President.
Mr. Council President.
Director, can you just please answer her question? She asked you, the director, a question.
The question about scheduling.
It wasn't about scheduling, it's once.
Once we okay this, do we have the final say of what goes there? So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Do we have the final say? Or no, do you have to come back before us as to what goes before what goes
planning
there?
board. The planning
No.
board, zoning board.
So now, it goes back before the planning board, correctly?
It's been on planning board, they
No.
approved it.
It goes back before the planning board. I'm just asking.
Respectfully,
And then they
Councilwoman.
okay it.
Councilwoman, this was approved
By
in
the
August
planning.
by the planning board already.
Hey, everybody don't have much faith in the planning board.
Councilwoman, may I?
I just want to say to you, you know what I mean? But my question is, once we okay this, then we really have no say of what goes on this Lafayette spot. That's what
So-
my concern.
The way the process works, the council is responsible for adopting an ordinance, which is, we're in the first reading tonight. The planning board has looked at this already from the conceptual level. Moving forward, if there's an application for a project that comes in, somebody comes in with plans for a building, that is the planning board's responsibility to review that. And there's the public process that goes along with that. So your responsibility would be to put this ordinance into place to allow for the potential development to happen. It's the planning board's responsibility to review the specifics of that development in the future when they come in. That's the way the law is set up, and that's the back and forth, the way the process is.
Council President.
Understand, Council President, you know, I mean, like, so once we say, okay, we can do an overlay, but then we don't know what's gonna go there until it goes back to the planning board. I mean, we got some few people in there that are halfway good, decent. They go look at what's before them. They go visit sites to see what it would look like. They go visit a place to see how it affects the area in general. And then some of them don't do any of that. They don't go visit nothing. They don't go see nothing. They open the packet up as soon as they sit down. They just looking at it. That's my concern, that we're not going to be able to say what's going to go there or have an idea of what might go there before, after the vote on this overlay. Right. So that's my concern.
Thank you. Councilman Velez, then Councilwoman Davila.
Thank you, Council President. Just to bring a highlight, at a committee meeting, we spoke about the concern. Also, we brought the concern of Councilwoman Cotton, because, you know, I'm a before and after individual, right? So before and after individual, what I see there, why I want to see in the future. The zone is a redevelopment zone, okay, and have improved for the past 5 years in the area. New park, new building on the other side, and if you look at the house around it, have improved also, because if they see something new, they want to fix their property for being the same standard, okay? That the area is booming, is quite good. I just want to clarify on the record that lots are different than blocks. Blocks is one, the lots is different. Councilwoman Kine stated that this would take 10 blocks. It's not taking 10 blocks. It's, okay, so, okay. All right, so it's 10 lots.
Council
If-
members, without mentioning anybody's name, keep,
No, okay.
keep
all right.
continue.
So what I want to bring on the record is what you see there and what you see after. And if this city want to change, we need to bring good development. The ordinance is already in the planning board. They had to just adjust up to what is here. And the ordinance is clear. We cannot support redevelopment if we don't support what makes redevelopment in the city of Paterson.
Thank you, Councilman.
So, Council President, if you know, it was well discussed. It was moved out of the agenda because we want to hear a little bit from him, but I'm clear. So, Council President, thank you. I just want to clear up my.
Council President.
Councilwoman Davila, then Councilman Mendez.
So, you know, I'm of the belief that, you know, you give as a councilwoman at large, that you give the respect, right, to each ward person, right? And her concerns, you know, I understand and I stand with her, right? When I have to look at the entire city. When we talk about growing, we're not getting any bigger, right? So the only way that we're going to grow and be able to assist our tax base is by going up. But there are certain sections that do not allow, can I get a nod, Councilman McCoy? There are certain sections that do not allow, so this is why this is here before us. It went through its process through the planning board. It has to come to us so that way we can support the approval. We're not approving a project. We're approving an overlay so we can continue to grow. My council colleagues, I'm just asking you, this is something that is needed, and because of the way that our ordinance is written, We have to move forward if we want to continue to grow and help our tax base. With that, I am going to be standing by you as your colleague that's been here with you for how many years? All right, standing to make sure that what goes there, so I'll be that person with you, walking and making sure that what goes there is what's right for our community. But my council colleagues, the only way we will continue to grow is up. Thank you very much.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Council President. Director Power, I think that, that used to be a very successful business on that section, the gas station, car wash, and other little street mall in that section.
Contaminated.
But that, but it's been dilapidated, with the time of the year. It's definitely my hope that we bring a redevelopment that makes sense for the area. I want to see definitely something new there. We have a beautiful baseball field across the street. So, but we're gonna stay on top of, what's gonna be built there. We all agree that we have to move forward and renovate that area. That's the first, and that's the reason why you're gonna have my support on this. And looking forward to see that we bring something that makes sense for that area. Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez. Madam Clerk, roll call on the first reading item. Councilman Jackson.
I mean, everyone spoke. You still haven't heard from the gentleman. Can you please give I don't sit on the committee. Can you give an overview on what this outlines, please?
Absolutely, Councilman. So by way of background, this request was submitted to the Planning Department. It was reviewed by the Planning Board, and now it's before this body this evening. We're talking about 9 parcels bound Franklin Street and Lafayette Street, and then the train tracks on the east side. So right across the street from the 2 recent multifamily developments that happened at 188 and 198 Lafayette. The point of this overlay is basically to create a second set of standards that would allow a development to take place that's very similar to what's across the street. Those projects across the street are within the redevelopment area. These properties are not, so they're subject to the city's standard zoning. This overlay would allow for a similar mixed-use development or multifamily residential development to what you see that's been built already across the street. Standards would allow for, very similar to what has been developed, up to 6 stories with a mix of parking on the ground floor, retail space on the ground floor, along with residential units and amenities that go along with that. So that's the long and the short of it. The businesses that are there now, you heard from Councilman Mendez, you've got a dilapidated gas station, former car wash. You've also got an industrial laundry facility. Those uses would be allowed to remain if there was no development proposal that comes forward. The existing zoning remains as a baseline. The overlay provides a second option that would allow for a development similar to what has already taken place across the street.
So without this provision, they would not be able to obtain a variance?
So they could seek variance approval from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. That's always an option that's on the table. However, that process is long and cumbersome. It's my understanding the Zoning Board agenda is very delayed at the moment because of the volume of activity. And frankly, for developers who are trying to put together a project, put together a pro forma, the uncertainty associated with that process makes it very difficult. I'm not representing a developer, just want to make that clear as well. I'm working with Director
But that's
Powell.
what it sounds like.
Well,
And not only does it sound like you're representing a developer, but a potential project. I mean, this is
Councilman Jackson,
targeting.
respectfully, I'm working with Director Powell and Mr.
Well,
Deutsch.
I know his agenda, so,
Well.
so have you done a study on the impact that the current project that you're referring to across the street has impacted the school around the corner? Do you know how many students, school 12, that's not a senior citizens building. That's not a senior citizens building. School 12, are you aware of how many, I'm sorry, you want to share with me what's funny?
We have not, Councilman, I'm sorry. That was outside the purview of my work. That would be a separate project that was not something I was contracted to do.
So part of your contract is not to evaluate community impact?
In this case, we're looking at the potential transformation of a piece of property that's essentially derelict at this point, restoring it to a productive use, increasing the city's tax rolls.
Productive from what perspective? I mean, would that not include the investigation and/or the evaluation of community impact?
Respectfully, Councilman, it was not something that was within my purview.
So, I'm just want to be clear. So there's already provisions that's in place that if a potential developer were to have an eye on a specific property, they can go through the normal process of filing for a variance. So this process, we want to circumvent that and make it easier for a potential developer to come in without properly vetting the impact that it will possibly have on the community. So there was no evaluation. I'm sorry. What is your title? What's your position? Like, I mean,
I'm a city planner.
You're
I'm
a
licensed planner.
You're a Paterson
But
city
no, I'm
planner?
a consultant that's working.
A consultant.
With the
A
planning.
licensed
department.
planner.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it fall under the purview of a planner to evaluate community impact?
If that's something that the council would like to have done and is something that the city would like to contract with, we could do a full study of the.
I didn't
potential
ask
impact.
if the council can contract. We're well aware that we could contract for something. I asked in general, not you, because, obviously you're saying it doesn't fall within your purview or capacity, but would a planner evaluate when they're making presentations such as this? Would a planner normally evaluate community impact on such projects that you're suggesting?
Not necessarily, no. It's not a requirement under the municipal
sorry?
land use law. Typically,
Of course, we're not voting on a project, just like we didn't vote on raises, but they all got raises. I don't understand how council members, this is an objective to circumvent an entity from having to go to the Board of Adjustments and follow through the protocol. They already have a person, they're not saying it, just like the mayor was in a press conference the other day and stated they've been negotiating with the Jackals for the last 5 or 6 years. He never disclosed that to us when he came to this council to ask for the vote for Hinchcliffe Stadium.
Council President, can we stay in the subject that we are now?
Councilman
Can you
Velez,
please
Councilman
advise him
Jackson.
that I have the floor?
Jackson has the floor.
You're gonna spend all night here for this.
Continue, Councilman Jackson.
All right, so once again, did you even look at the capacity of the nearest public school? If you're talking about a potential project, identical to what's across the street, how many units are across the street?
Are we gonna discuss the overlay, or we gonna try to discuss the project in front of us?
Can somebody please get this gentleman under control? Obviously, he's too ignorant to understand the process. I have the floor, sir, please.
Council President, there's board in the city that he could address those questions over there. If you wanna make a show of everything that we have here to
Councilman Velez,
look at the time, man.
Councilman
We
Jackson
have
has
to go
the
to a special
floor.
Executive session.
Yeah, we are on
special meeting to
discussion,
go
yes.
to.
Councilman Jackson has the floor, and we're not approving any building or any
Any
project,
project.
anything.
That's right.
Anything that anybody want to put up in the
That's
area,
right.
that has to go in front of the boards. We have zoning board, we have, they have to go in front of the board, and they get their approved. So we could ask them all these questions.
That's not
And
correct.
it's the
there.
first
That's
reading.
Councilman Jackson, continue, please.
Yeah.
That's not correct. This
Continue.
process would allow for a developer to circumvent the process of going before the Board of Adjustments. And once again, so if we're talking about potentially expanding the footprint of the development area to allow for someone to potentially put something identical across the street, I asked you once again, how many units is there across the street?
I don't have the number off the top of my head, Councilman. I get you an answer, but I don't have it now.
So
Are you done,
170 plus, no, I'm not finished, Council President. I'm just totally being overran and overstepped. You should be regulating the meeting to make sure that I'm not interrupted so frequently.
I think I'm doing a fine job considering what's going on in city of Paterson and what's going on in some of the city council members. Continue, Councilman Jackson.
So we're looking to circumvent the process to allow someone to be able to be able to go in and develop something identically without even evaluating the impact that it has on the community, without evaluating the potential of new students that it's going to put in that public school that's already overran. Because of course, it's not a concern of yours, it's not a community you have to live in, or the director. Your children don't have to potentially go there. If someone's gonna put another building there and their children are gonna move there, they're gonna get an inadequate education because their classroom size is gonna be overran, and or they're gonna have to be bused across the entire city to another school that's being overcrowded. So again, I'm asking, why wasn't there some type of evaluation that was done? He wants to interrupt as well. Go ahead, Director.
No,
Why wasn't there an evaluation?
I'm actually kind of agreeing with you. I think.
Why wasn't there an evaluation done on the impact of the public schools?
Well, first, it's not a requirement of municipal land use law, but I think the intent of what you're saying, which is what is a community benefits analysis, is a good point. I have no problem looking into, and we've had conversations with the school district, because of what is happening and the level of investment that the city is seeing and the level of growth that's also happening. I think having those types of dialogues, we've had several discussions with the school district about shared services and looking at the pipeline so we can begin extrapolating out exactly what you're talking about. As you know, we've been dealing with school issues in the city for a whole bunch of different reasons, which is why some of us have helped create charters and the like, and facilities are always a really big thing. And I think from a state policy perspective, and I think some of what we're going to be doing through our comprehensive analysis of the city is how do we grow more, but grow it in an equitable way? And that's my commitment to growth, and that's what I've been doing for
So what's the answer to that question?
I just told you.
You didn't know. You didn't answer that question. What do you mean, all right? What do you mean, all right? I have
Some
the floor.
questions can't
He
be
didn't
answered
answer
perfectly
He
in
didn't
real
answer the
time.
question. So again, there was no evaluation on impact to schools. He just went off on a tandem, talked about the creation of charter schools that have not outperformed public schools at all, that have a large number of videos that's being created on TikTok with students going crazy, fighting each other in classrooms. We're talking about the impact that we're going to have on public schools. Here we are looking to move another project that's going to overrun and circumvent the process of a potential developer having to go to the process to properly vet it out so that they can determine whether or not it's a good idea for this thing to happen. But anyway, listen, you guys are already decided. The vote for 5 has already been placed. Let's go. Move for a vote, Council President. Do the great job that you've been
Roll call,
doing.
Madam Clerk.
Yeah, let me, okay, go
Roll
ahead.
call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 7 for first reading. Councilwoman Khan.
Let me just say, I know it's there. It's a gas station. It's a car wash. It's raggedy. It's bad. And I don't know much longer how long it's gonna be like that, but it do need some help there.
Thank you.
But my concern is too, of helping, of something good going there. Because right now, you still got a laundromat business that is not part of this here. The laundromat's still gonna stay there. They do commercial laundry for restaurants and so forth. But you have that one piece there, which has the laundromat, the gas station, the car wash, which nothing is working. The car wash ain't working. The laundromat, nobody goes in there. I mean, cars are just parked all over the place over there. It's like really the area, but I just need to understand too, and when I said lots, not blocks. I know what lots are. My lot, lots are 25 feet, right? But something has to be done there. Something is like, I'm not sure. Like sometimes I want to go to some of these businesses, seminars to try to bring some business over here. I want me some companies that's gonna build and hire some people, and that's what I want, something, you know, like an Amazon, or like a, you know, one of these companies that wanna come here to hire some of our people that we need here. But something has to be done. That area, that spot there is really a bad spot, and it's been there like that for quite some time. But I think that I want to have more conversation to you with Mr. Powell and you, or just to, I'm not, can I come to one of the meetings and one of y'all miss? Because I'm not part of economic development. Right.
Absolutely.
Because I want to hear some more stuff for what potential that you would like to see too, from the city on that. So this is only first reading. We got, Madam Clerk, we got 2 more weeks for the next reading. So for the first reading, I'm gonna go with a yes. But like I said, please let me come into your meeting just to see some ideas. So, but that area is really bad. It's bad. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
So, Councilwoman, as the Chair of Economic Development, I'll definitely invite you to the next meeting, all right, for us to have more discussion with the committee. So I'll make sure that probably the person that doesn't show up the most, maybe they won't be there for that next meeting and you're able to be there. As I stated before, understanding and respecting the Councilwoman of the 4th Ward and her concerns, when I look at my city, as I stated, we're 8.1 square miles. We are not growing. The only way that we will grow, we're not expanding, right? The only way that we will grow is up. So in order for us, we are not today voting on a project. We are voting on an overlay, something we did a few years in the 1st Ward. So the only way, and mind you, you know, and I learn as well, because I was saying, well, you know, you got the property in the 1st Ward, which one side of the block was, you know, with, you know, X amount of feet, and I'm like, why can't the other side? Well, obviously because of the zoning issues. So understanding that this area, and you know, I just shared with Councilwoman Cotton, her ward is changing immensely, all right? And I believe, I don't know what's gonna go there, but let's just say that it may be like a project across the street. You know, when I go down that area and I look at the one side and I look at the field and it's beautiful, right? And we wanna continue, we want our individuals in Paterson to live in nice places, not live in dumps. And so with that said, not knowing what's gonna go there, I'm in full support that we need to have more conversations. But right now, I will support an overlay. We've been talking about this. We're the only way that we are going to grow is up. And understanding that studies do need to be done, traffic studies need to be done, you know, but schools. In addition, yes, we are having charter schools come in, okay? Yes, we are making sure that, but I'm sorry, let me take that back. We don't know if children are gonna come live in these buildings. That could be potentially. We don't know if it's gonna be senior housing. We don't know that. So right now, what we're doing and what I'm supporting today is the fact that the planning board did support this approval for an overlay in that area. And so with that said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
I would be very surprised if there wasn't an acquisition of that property already made. I'm gonna do some due diligence over the week. First of all, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is asinine right here. You never see this in any other community. You never see this. I've been spending a lot of time in the marina in Jersey City. You look at the development projects that's there, it's totally different than what you see here. See, the process of going to the board, not circumventing this process, is to allow the board to make this critical decisions on what's best for the community. Evaluate the public schools, to be talking about build quality, which we never talk about around here. We allow these subpar situations to continuously happen while we just say, okay, no, we need development, it's dilapidated. Yeah, but you're putting things in place that don't fit in the community. No other community allows this to happen. You can go to Garfield or they turn down these developments because these developments overrun and they destroy their city. We already don't have enough services. It takes you an hour just to get a police for a block driveway. Look at the parking right now on 11th Avenue. On Lafayette Street. The parking is like it's never been before. There's cars, you drive down there now, there's people parking in the gas station illegally. There's people parking on the opposite side. They're parking all the way down by Putman's Oval, Rayleigh baseball field. This is part of the problem, people. You have people in place that have absolutely no idea on what this process should look like. And we're allowing for this continued overdevelopment, poorly developed overdevelopment. And the impact that it's gonna have on schools, the impact that it's gonna have on the community, the parking, all of the city services is ridiculous. We see it already. We're not even answering the call to it, but we're continuously allowing for people who don't live in this city to cut deals, and if you believe there's not a deal in place already, you're also part of the problem. Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, thank you, Madam Clerk. So, Director, we're not voting on a project tonight. I know that area very well. I used to shop on the little strip mall that they used to have, the laundromat, the gas station, all of that is gone. All I see is a dilapidated building, an area in need of renovation, totally, on a redevelopment. But it's my hope that you guys put something that fit in that area. I'm not gonna say no to this project because while we have that right there this time, that's not what I wanna see there. Absolutely not. I hear schools, I hear building. I don't know what's gonna happen there. What is the project on that area? That's another conversation. That's a next step. But I don't want to say no. And people know, my position and how I think about some, decision about this administration. But I'm the type of person that I always do the right thing. If I see that something is not working, let's get it done. Let's fix it. I pass by there every day. It's dark. It's those businesses, they gone. So I want to see something nice and new there. So that's going to be the next conversation. But for now, on first reading, I'm going to support this project because it's my hope that we turn that area around. And that's what we have in front of us right now. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mims.
So back in, I think, August, this item was presented before the planning board. And they are pretty much the decision makers when it comes to if it's going to be a building, if it's going to be, whatever's going to be there. And they, by majority vote, voted in the affirmative of yes. This happened already. So what's happening now is coming to us to provide the overlay. And I also want to put on record that when it comes to doing the redevelopment plans for the city, as a former member of the planning board, not many people show up to the meetings. That is where the community has to come and speak up in regards to their particular neighborhood. It also has to be from this side and from the community side. But I remember sitting, and I was serving with Councilman Abdelaziz, and he's a witness. When we did those revitalization programs for the community, for the wards, different wards that came through, there was bare to minimal presence in regards, and this is something that can be utilized to make those adjustments and or the changes. I do remember 4th Ward, Councilwoman Cotton coming. I remember you came when it came to the 5th Ward. But those are the times when we do that, and it should be coming up again, where we're gonna go back into that revitalization process. But we need to make sure that we have to say, what do we wanna see in our neighborhoods? And if it's something we don't wanna see in the neighborhood, you gotta come out in full force and say, this is not one, and then, because when they present these items before us, it's connected to those plans. And that's something we don't really talk about, but those plans, because they were approved and voted on by the council, right? Because we went through the process, but then it came to this council. Those are times and areas when we can really put up a stance and say, in this particular area, we don't want this, or we want this in a particular area. So with this one, it's an overlay. It's not that we're approving a building. It does not say anything about a building. It's saying that over in that area, they're doing an overlay zone in that district to these certain particular blocks, in block 3019 and these lots, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But in August, this was approved by the planning board. We had nothing to do with that. Now, this is before us, which is correlated and aligned with the master plan in the fourth ward. That's what it's aligned to. And if all you got to do is pull this data and pull that plan, and you will see the correlation and the alignment. I'm sure there'll be more discussion and before we get to the final, second reading and final vote, but that's where you make the changes. That's where you make the stands. Now, I know a lot of times things are said and people are like, oh, how are they voting on that? You got to go back to who voted on it in August and what they voted on. Did they ask the questions regarding the redevelopment plan? Does it match? Does it not match? That's where the buck should stop. And so with this item, just based on it being the first reading, based on our redevelopment plans and what we have in place in that particular area, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Woodin?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As my council members, council colleagues mentioned, that this is an overlay change of land use, and it came to the planning board in August, and month before it came to the workshop session. We discussed a lot about it. Again, about 200 property owners got notice that this would come to the council meeting as well. So if anyone would have concern, definitely would come. And again, we are moving forward to second reading if that happens. And I'd love to see get the feedback from the community as well, if any concern. And I think this particular portion of the fourth ward in need of redevelopment, and my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
Mr. Planner, Mr. Powell, I'm not gonna sit here and belittle the expertise and the knowledge that you have in your field that you want to implement in our city to move forward. I'm not here for that. We're here to move the city forward. Whatever comes there, residential, commercial storage, whatever you want, I will ask one thing. Can you put Ruby Cotton names on it for at least it will match with the other side? Right? It's just a happy thought. But, I know, I want to see this city grow. See, Councilman was praising his job and what he see out there, and I commend him. He has his own passion. I have my own passion. Everybody has their own passion. Some people have toxic passion that will not take them nowhere, right? But I'm not going to sit here and delay the progress of my city. You know why? Some people are relaxed mode to see their ward look like, but not me. I want to see my ward like the fourth ward growing, like the third ward growing, like the second ward growing, like the sixth ward growing, and come out in the news that it's better than the sixth or better than here or whatever. But that's what that he said. But listen, let's move forward. People have to understand what is a redevelopmental zone and where the city was and where we are now. Councilman McCoy, could you recall when all the banks in downtown left the city? Banks, B-A-C-K, B-A-N-K, right?
Benches, you talking about benches? Oh, banks.
Banks.
Yeah.
I'm acting like Ruby now.
Go ahead. Councilman, please vote.
This was a ghost
Come
town. But we spent a lot of times and things. We got a contract to take care, but I know this is going to move forward. Listen, let's bridge what's going on in the city of Paterson. Let's not to take the curve without taking a straight road. So my vote is yes.
Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 against. Item number 7 is hereby adopted on first reading.
Thank you, Madam.
No, Mr. President, I have to finish this. And as Councilwoman Cotton stated, this is for the record. The second reading and the public hearing on this ordinance will be held on November 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m. The reason, it's a zoning and land development ordinance. It has to be published at least 10 days in the newspaper. Also, the clerk's office have to send out letters to all the adjoining within the 200 feet of that location. So the second reading is November, it's on a Thursday, 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m. for the second reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we go to executive session, I see our former councilman, Bill McCoy is here. Are you here? Welcome to City Council chambers, Councilman. Is there any, you would like to address us or any reason?
Thank you so much for recognizing me. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget my face, so while I watch you at home every meeting, I figured that I would come in and join with you. But I understood I would just send in a text to the BA because I didn't think that I would have the opportunity to say it. So while I'm at the podium, when I was with the Bell System, we worked with the Schools and Library Corporation. Paterson has one of the most advanced wide area network that connects all of our schools with a fiber optic cable. That capacity is tremendous. It could hold as much traffic as we can generate. The only thing I think we could do is to add an antenna or receiver system to each of our schools, and we would be able to cover the entire city, as well as large businesses such as Barnard Hospital or St. Joe's that are in those particular areas. If they add and link into our system as well, we would have universal coverage. So in order to do all of that police response data and lay out all of this traffic, you wouldn't have anywhere that would not be covered by Wi-Fi, meaning that our school children could do their homework without having to look for a hotspot, which is another consideration that we could require Optimum or the cable system to drop particular hotspots in dead zones to get us back on a link. So that was my only comment.
Thank you for that information, Councilman.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Council
it.
President. Be well.
Thank you. We're going to do the executive session now.
Yes, yes, Mr. President.
Madam Clerk, let's proceed with the item number 8 to open the executive session.
Yes, Mr. President.
Read
Next
the-
item on the agenda is item number 8 for executive session. Resolution authorizing a municipal council executive or closed session in or adjoining the city council chambers, 155 Market Street, to discuss a new agreement with Teamsters Local 125, Paterson Dispatchers, Law Resolution 22601.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilwoman Davila. Roll call to open the executive session, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to open the executive session for item number 8, Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Khan. Councilman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson. Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Udine.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The executive session is now open for item number 8, and the one who is not affiliated with this matter may ask to vacate the chamber at this time. Mr. Ming, could you please make sure we are off the air and YouTube?